And again, we're going to keep faulting other coaches for the poor decisions we make, right? Like, I don't believe in labels. Anybody who knows me, I know I don't like labels. I don't care about labels. One of my guys asked me a minute ago, are they his Adidas track pants? I said, no. They're the same sweatpants that Adidas buys. They just don't have a label on them. And he said, and I'm looking at him, I said, because I don't care about labels. Because, for instance, once they label a sweatpant, for instance, this sweatpants is the same kind of material, same everything, 100% the same thing. But here's the issue. Now, by you putting your logo on it, now I'm cattle because I'm branded wearing your brand. Now I'm cattle walking around with your brand, right? And on top of it, all I did was pay an additional markup just because I want to walk around and advertise your brand when I should be walking around advertising myself or someone that's going to get back to my community. But the reality is we don't think like that. We tend to think completely opposite, where it's like, I'm going to support who don't support me and then be mad at the fact that we're not getting anything back in our communities.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Oh, yeah. I got my favorite and my favorite co-host. Tashay Jones is in the building.
Hi, guys. Happy
Give it up for
Sunday.
Mrs. Jones. Ooh. Mrs. Jones is in the building. Listen, guys. Today's episode is Stop Glorifying Ignorance. Let me say that one more time. Stop glorifying ignorance.
What's your take on that? What does that mean to you?
I just think that the things that we reward people for is like, it's foolish in a sense, because like I watch some people celebrate people that come home from jail. I watch people flex knowing that they're in poverty situations. I watch people dress up failure and to look like it's more than what it actually is. I watched it my whole life, and I engaged in it for a while, and it actually stunted my growth, because one thing I always tell somebody, like, you ever heard the term fake it till you make it? I always tell people, nothing comes with faking like you're successful. I can see it for an opportunity. For instance, let's say if I don't know how to fix cars, I'm a little good, and you own a mechanic shop, and I act like I know how to fix cars better because I'm looking for a job. Right. So I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Right. So that means there's an opportunity that's coming from the faking it till you make it. But looking like you got money, dressing like you got money, spending all your money to look like you got money, what comes from that? And I just think that that's where the foolish mentality stems from when it comes to faking it till you make it. What do you get from when you hear that?
I mean, similar to what you say, but do you find that to be a cultural thing with us? Because I don't think a lot of cultures do that. I've been exposed to a lot of different races and different cultures, and I feel like that's something that's very prevalent in the Black community, is that we would rather look rich than to actually be rich. It's like a fight to make people think that we just got it like that. You know what I'm saying? And we don't. I feel like, you know, for the most part, a lot of people that I'm around, they don't want to fake it until they make it. There's certain things that they just don't want to do because they prioritize, and it's just not a priority for them.
Agreed.
You know, designer clothes isn't a priority. Driving a nice car or a brand new car isn't a priority. You know, they kind of go by the whole theory of if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. And we go by whether it's broke or not. I need to just get better and better.
And just being fair to like Black culture. I do believe that Black culture, we always ignite or we always intensify the people that have a low mentality. And then we compare other cultures, they're high IQ people, to the people that's in our culture at the low IQ. Because if we took the Black people that are like successful, like legit, and that's worked hard, and that's went to school, and that's elevated their families, right, and we took them and we made that the standard, then we would stop looking at the lower people and making that the standard. I think what it is they overly magnify the bads in our culture more than the goods, and I will admit that. But I do believe that like a white person gets compared to Beverly Hills white person, and they compare us to our ghetto Black. We don't talk about the Beverly Hills Black guy, right? We talk about the guy that's at the bottom, and then we compare it to the guy at the top in other cultures. Because if I go look at all across the board, Spanish culture, They definitely have their ignorance. White people definitely have their ignorance. See, the thing is, you have white Americans, but they don't talk about, what about rednecks? What about hillbillies? What about
white
their
trash,
ignorance? White trash, trailer park trash. What about those statements? But they only talk about the blacks being ignorant. I'm like, yeah, we have a lot of ignorance in our culture, because I do believe that a lot of us been held back and oppressed so long that it's feel like I have to like feel something significant that about myself. And I do believe that it makes them feel good about themselves, because that is insecurity though. Yeah. Tyler.
Why do you guys think that our culture doesn't like to get talked about by our own? Because there's a lot of times you guys make certain statements and we see the clips, we see the comments, and people take it offensive as if we're trying to go against the community when we're trying to build. So what do you think it is that why the black culture doesn't like just being told about themselves?
I think the truth hurts. And I think that accountability is not easy for everyone. When you really have to look in the mirror and see that you're the problem, everyone doesn't want that. I'm guilty of that, you know, and I think that is a big thing with our culture. It goes back to Q even saying, you know, not just the culture, the gender of him saying, and I applied that yesterday with talking to someone when he's like, you know, you could talk to your boys, but as women, there's certain things that we just can't even say to our girlfriends. And it's out of love. It's not coming from a bad place, but you just feel like you're so apprehensive about saying something because you're like, oh my God, in fear for like, you know, what is she going to say? How is she going to feel? I feel like that's the same rules apply to us culturally. It's just like, accountability is just hard for people to take. And that's just my opinion. We just looking in the mirror, man, that's a reflection of who you are. And people don't like to see that reflection, you know?
Starting at the bottom of the race and moving my way up, I've noticed that the rooms that I've gotten into that are more successful, they're more transparent and more truthful. I think in the bottom, people are more delusional and more captivated by being lied to. You know, and that's what I've noticed as I move up. I'm like, damn, they're raw. I got a Jewish mentor. One time we were having a discussion, and he came out his face with me crazy. Yeah. But at the time I was whining about something. And this is years ago, and I was whining about something. He said, either A, we're going to get it done, or we're going to keep whining. He said, you're spending all your energy whining.
Yeah, but do you think that money gives people the right to be arrogant? Because there's a difference. To me, success isn't about money, just to me. Yeah. Like you can have someone that goes to work every day, they work hard, you know, they have their medical, their dental, they have their 401k, and they're comfortable. And then you have someone else now who thinks that because, you know, you making $2 over lunch money, that you could talk to people any and any way. And I feel like, to me, there's a difference between being successful and being arrogant. Arrogance is just something that is just intolerable for me.
But the thing about the term arrogance is all relative to the person's perspective of how they view you. Right. For instance, a person could say, yo, I want 5 cars, and you might only want 1 car. I'm like, he don't need 5 cars. Why are you worried about what that person is driven to want? Different. That's why people can be called arrogant. Because once a person comfortably believes in himself and they sound with themselves, the people that aren't, they tend to want them to believe that they only can go to the level of what they believe they can go to. A lot of time it's called projecting. When you look at a person, I know I'm him, I'm her, I'm confident, and the person be like, she full of herself. Maybe because you don't like yourself. Yeah. That's why you don't like it. Because to be honest with you, arrogance is when you're not approachable. Arrogance is when you're not teachable. Arrogance is when you're not coachable. So when you say that somebody confidence, arrogance, conceitedness, they're all on the same fence. They're very closely related. Depends on the person's lens on how they view you. Because again, me saying, I know I'm him. Some people that haven't built that level of confidence, yo, Q is arrogant as hell. No, I know I am. Right? And again, in order for me to continue my success and to continue to build, I have to genuinely believe that. But the same way, if I see somebody broken down on the highway, I'm one of the first people that want to stop and help them. When I see people don't know financial literacy, I'm one of the first people that want to teach them. So reality is, that's not arrogance. You have to be confident in order to be successful. So reality is, people misconstrue it because of how they view you. Right? Somebody come on the basketball court, I'm better than all y'all over here. Yo, he think... Bro, in order to beat y'all, he has to think like that. He has to think like that. And it's just what it is. I hate to say it, that this world is built America's a big chessboard. And you just have to understand strategically how to place your pieces in the right places in order to beat it. Because the reality is, the only way to beat it is by playing the system. People that try to rebel against the system is why they constantly lose. Every time you look at our culture, we tend to think we're going to beat the system. But meanwhile, you can utilize the system the same way other cultures utilize the system to elevate themselves. But they tend to believe that it's something in the way of them that's not there. It's you. And the disbelief on yourself, and a lack of confidence, and the constant looking for excuses, opposed to saying, you know what, I need to just do. That's our issue, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, that was you just answering the question that I asked, but
What do you guys think's like a big? Because since we talking about glorifying ignorance, what is something that we glorify too much right now that it just has to get stopped in order to grow?
Cars.
we glorify cars.
Yes.
I feel like everyone wants them.
We all scream cars are liabilities, but yet and still we overly value liabilities. I've watched so many videos of people crying about their car rates that they got. Most people don't even know what they rate on their car is. Well, you know, interest rates is everything. When you take something and you don't even look at the rate of which you acquired it, because I'm gonna tell you something. We could drive the same year car, have the same mileage on our car, and have the same amount of gas in our car. Don't mean we paid the same price for our car. Because reality is your credit could be one score, my credit could be one score, and we do not have the same payment on our car. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue where people tend to look at everybody from a certain lens. I'm like, hold on. You got to look at that story to why. Because like, for instance, my luxury cars is not paid for by me. They're paid for by assets that I acquired that pay for it. That's what you try to teach people to understand. It's not about wanting nice things. It's about how you acquire the nice things.
And how you continue to pay for it.
Yes, because laboring for liabilities is what keep you broke. You put labor for assets and then removing yourself, then buying liabilities with the assets that you've acquired from the laboring. But it's the spectrum is the other way around.
I have a friend who's paying, I think the car might be a 2018, 2019. And has a rate of like 26%. And it was like almost unheard of to me because I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, are you crazy? But again, it's a BMW. It's a nice car. And I think at the time she just thought that it was a good decision to make. And you're paying a 26 point something interest rate on a 2018 or 2019, a BMW.
Oh, yeah, that's wild.
And yeah, but 2018.
No, we know that, but in her mind,
what?
Respectfully, she believes that that's what make her look successful. Because again, we dress up poverty. Poverty has been literally so masked to the point where people will know that they're in poverty, but they won't accept it. The only way you can fix a situation is by identifying that the situation is true. The more you lie to yourself, the more you believe your own foolishness. That's how delusion is created. Delusion is created because in your mind, you believe that something that isn't true. But in your head, it's true.
But do you think I'm going to say this for a lot of men that do that, because I do think the car thing, I think I see more men getting nicer cars, posing. What is it about when guys go away to even the Miami? You can rent a Nissan. You can rent a Toyota. You can rent you a little. You can rent you a. Let me finish. So I'm asking you, if we know our means and we know to live within our means, why do you have a lot of men that are going out there to rent these nice cars for 2 days, 3 days, spending thousands of dollars to rent these cars for what? Just to impress women? Just to get girls?
It's the insecurity of self, and they understand that women will look at them as more successful because of that, and that's really why they do it. If a woman saw a Nissan Altima as a luxury car, more men will buy a Nissan Altima. If right now you sit down with a girl and you say, yo, I have a 2026 Nissan Altima, right? I got a 2026 Nissan Altima, right? And you tell her that, and the car's paid off. Mine is a 2026 Nissan Altima, car paid off. Somebody gonna be like, oh, I wouldn't want that. I don't respect those kind of cars, right? So again, that's
Can you guys hear us now? Oh, it's good now.
Okay. So look, say a guy right now say, yo, I got a 2026 Nissan Altima, and the car's paid off. A guy can tell you right now, I got a 2026 BMW, but the guy owes $100,000 on the car. The girls see that BMW as more of a flex, but in reality, that guy's in positive equity. That person is in negative equity. So the person with the BMW is in a bad situation.
But I'm not asking so much just for the women. You were talking about people who do that and why. But I'm saying, but why do you? But why?
Because they get the attention that they want from women. It's just what it is. It's just they want attention from the women. And secondly, I would say the insecurity of knowing that they're not really in a position that they want to pretend they are. They know they're not in a position. So the reality is, I tell people all the time, I can go out with my mentor. She's a billionaire, like legit billionaire. So reality is, I go out with her. I'm not gonna try to keep up with her. I know where I'm at. But the reason why I can constantly climb to get to where she is, because I know where I'm at. The reality is most people don't know where they are because they pretend so long that they believe themselves. There are people that live paycheck to paycheck and they talk very arrogant about finances like they got it like that.
Right.
And they waiting for another check. and literally waiting for another check. And it's a hamster wheel but before you can change your financial situation, you have to change your mentality about your financial situation. Because if you can't change that, then you're gonna always be consistently making the same poverty decisions that keep you stuck. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna blame America. America never made you go out and go get a luxury car. America didn't tell you that you need a luxury bag. America don't tell you need to fly out every weekend. American reality is you need to sacrifice for a while, put yourself in a position where your lifestyle could be your real lifestyle opposed to a temporary lifestyle. I think it's like teasing me to go on a vacation, renting a luxury room, and then got to come back to poverty. I think it's a teaser. I don't know how people even do that.
But do you think especially in our music, do you think the reason why it's glorified so much by regular people is because they see it glorified by celebrities? Do you see like the guys, it's the nice cars in the videos, and the nice cars get the girls, and the money get the girls, and the jewelry get the girls, and the clothes get the girls? But I'm saying if we know that's a problem and we can identify the problem, I'm talking about it from the men's side, then why isn't there a solution? Then why continue the cycle, but then kind of looking to make blame for it?
I broke the solution because I broke that situation because my son, he's grown, and my son don't care about material things at all. And I taught him to worry about, my son worry about more stocks than he worry about sneakers and clothes, right? And that's a mentality you have to teach him. If you don't instill that mentality, the generation will repeat the same, if the next generation, in most cases, if the last generation don't teach the things that we didn't learn. Even if you learned it at a later age, the best thing to do is say, you know what, I'm gonna show you how to view this because I didn't view it. And a lot of times, all we do is complain about what we didn't do, rather. But the reality is, if you knew better, you would have did better. Now you know better, you do better. So you can't complain about what you didn't know. You didn't know. So now let's move forward. And I think the worst parent on earth is a parent that creates that same messed up mentality that kept us stuck. And then you teach the next generation to have that same mentality. That's where the problem spews right there. It's like, damn, you're teaching the next generation the same poverty mentality, and then you wonder why we're broke. And I'm like, it's just what it is. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation with a guy the other day. He was like, yo, come outside. I said, what's up? He wanted to show me his BMW. And I looked at the BMW, I said, that's nice. And the reality is he works at Costco. I'm going to be honest with you. The problem is if you say this, people are going to take it as arrogant. I tell people to act your wage. We tell people to act their age, but you got to also act your wage. And the reality is, well, someone wrote a minute ago, and I want to get to that. Someone asked me, so you're telling me that 9 to 5 is a form of poverty? No. Your 9 to 5 is your first investor. Your 9 to 5 is your first investor into the lifestyle that you want. So for instance, my 9 to 5 is the first payment that I receive for the hours that I'm giving them. So basically you're selling time, right? I'm selling time. So if I'm selling time in my life, that means I should be trying to buy back my time with the money the time that I'm giving. So every time I get my money, I gotta literally say, you know what? Let me do something right with it. Let me break down the analogy. Let's say hypothetically, me and you go to a job, right? And every time they pay us in seeds. But the only time we can eat is when we at the job, meaning we get food. So shouldn't we take some of those seeds and do what when we go home? Plant them. And the reality is that's what they should be doing with their money. They don't plant their seeds. So therefore, every time they need to eat, they got to go where? Back to work. And that's why they get stuck with this plantational mentality. And they get stuck over and over and over, repetitionally doing it. I'm like, no, sacrifice 5 years of your life. 60 months can change your whole positioning with discipline. But the reality is, no, I want to continue to act like I'm there for the next 60 months. And then 60 months from now, life got more expensive and you're in a worse situation than what you would have been if you would have sacrificed 60 months ago.
But do you think that there are some people, like I said, that are satisfied with their job? Not everyone in a 9 to 5. Like, I feel like they're workers and they're bosses. Like, not everyone is built for entrepreneurship. Like, there are some people that their way of planting seeds is putting into their Roth IRA, putting into their 401k. That is their way of, making sure that after retirement, they're good. I don't think everyone has the business mentality, and that's okay. I don't think everyone has an entrepreneur mentality because it is hard to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Everyone can't just go out there. It is a sacrifice to make. And sometimes it depends on your placement in life, where you are, if you're able to make that sacrifice. Like I said, by the time you do your 9 to 5, you get paid, you pay your bills, you pay into your medical, you pay into your dental, pay into your 401. Some people are good with that. They're comfortable with that. That's a comfortable life for them. They could take a few vacations. They're able to just live within their means. They're able to save a little bit of money, and they're okay with not playing a gamble because entrepreneurship can be a gamble for us. I've had a couple of businesses. Some did well, some didn't. I'm sure you have as well. So it is a gamble. So I don't know if I can judge someone based on the fact and say yes, you are, but you're selling your time either way. Because in entrepreneurship, you got to grind too. Because if you don't work hard, you don't get paid. So either way, I feel like you're giving your time up. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You can't just sit here. Your business aren't just going to run themselves and make money. You got to step in too. So I feel like I try not to judge people based on that, because sometimes a 9 to 5 for some people, that's what's paying the bills.
No, but there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. But the issue with a 9 to 5 is when you don't understand how to employ your money. Everyone is not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
So we automatically assume by somebody being financially free, they have to be an entrepreneur. Not necessarily true. Most people don't understand that. For instance, you take a Tesla, Google, Apple, Amazon. They are publicly traded companies. That means, therefore, you can put your money and invest into a publicly traded company. Therefore, you don't have to have a business, but you invest in successful businesses that make you money. So reality is, you teach that mentality more opposed to everyone has to be a boss. You're your boss because you're employing your money.
Right. That's
what make everyone a boss. A boss is a mentality. You don't have to have 10 businesses to talk about your boss. No, what you are is you taking your resources. You say, you know what? I'm going to put my money into Tesla for the next 10 years. I'm going to put my money into Google for the next 10 years. So therefore what?
Agreed.
Growing your money.
Agreed.
So that's what more people need to have, that understanding and that ideology, opposed to saying, oh, I need to open up a store. No, I'm just being honest with you. Most people are not good enough to have a business, because most people, if you treat your 9 to 5 like trash, because the way you practice is the way you play. Before you can become the boss, you have to act like the boss. So if you act lazy on a job, you're going to be lazy when you have your own business. The reality is, it doesn't change. When I worked every job I've ever had in my life, I've always been disciplined. I've always been on time. I've always been consistent, and I was always adamant about building it. And therefore, I've always got managerial or supervisor positions because of how I carried myself, knowing that this is just a stepping stone for the person I want to be. I tell you, every day we audition. You audition for the character that you want. Right? And when you're trying to audition, you're sitting there saying to yourself, like, you know what? I'm building myself up. So the reality is, I can't build myself up if I don't build a mentality. Think about it. A team practice, right? If they practice hard, when a game comes, what happens? They play better, right? And that's how I tell people, your first jobs are very, they're very necessary for the future person you're becoming. And if you take those jobs like trash, I ain't taking the job, it ain't enough for me. You're gonna do the same thing when you get up into your next jobs.
Right.
You gotta know how to behave. The worker has to think like the CEO before he becomes a CEO. He has to think like that. Otherwise, when you become the CEO, you don't become a landlord. You learn how to be a landlord before you become a landlord.
But I think a lot of times we do need to teach that. You know, I think that we don't
Block that weirdo?
We don't teach a lot of things, and we have an expectation for people to know it. I think that one of the biggest scams to me is even college. I think that you go to college, you take a lot of classes for a degree, some things you're never going to use. You know what I mean? For those of us who went, like, you're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. Or you go to college, you come out in major debt, and you still don't have a job. Or you got to take a job where you're making $30, $35, $40 an hour. A lot of people go to college, you get a bachelor's. A bachelor's means nothing anymore. They glorified that years ago. A master's is getting you in the door, but it's who you know, especially in the corporate world. Because, I mean, college will teach you how to be book smart. It doesn't really make you intelligent. It doesn't make you know how to go out there and do things, because you're not really learning anything specific to your field. Unless you're going to be a doctor, obviously. If you're in med school, you know what I mean? You're in law school, that's a difference. But you got a lot of people out here with business degrees. They ain't got no job in no business. You know what I'm saying? I went to school for business. You go to school, then I ended up doing early childhood development. Then I switched to this, then I switched to that. Like, but in all of this, you're paying money. So I feel like teaching people financial literacy and having these in schools. We need to have these in schools for our children, where they know at an early age of, like, this is what you do with your money. Letting them invest in little stocks, just the way they're introducing college classes in high school. You know what I mean? Do the same thing, so our kids, those who know better, do better. You can't expect people to do what they don't know. Knowledge is power.
Agreed, but I still feel like the parents are the blame, because when you look at, you have a child who has never learned anything about finances, they get their first checks, and you allow them to do whatever the hell they want with their checks. So realistically, that parent is the problem. You know that this child knows nothing about finance, and you expect them to just know finance. So who's the problem? The reality is, I take my son's money and hold his money for him. And as he needs, I give to him. The reason being is because you're giving a child unlimited access to frivolous things. And chances are, they're going to do what? Spend money on frivolous things. So what you do is you discipline them, you teach them, and as they start maturing, you give them more access to the freedom of finance. The same way as going outside. You don't just say your kid turned 13, go out and be all you can be.
Right.
No, you give them a little later curfew, then 16, then turn it back on, 18, 19. You start giving them more access to being responsible. And the reality is, if you automatically just throwing your child out and say, you know what, my son worked at McDonald's, he got his first check, and he's good. You're the problem. I'm just being fair. You're the problem because you should have said, you know what, every paycheck, I need 40, 30, 40, 50%, whatever it is you choose to say, I need to hold that. And as you need, I will give you. Otherwise, you're going to wake up with a 30-year-old child who is 30-year-old broke because you never planned them to be the 30-year-old person, especially when you have the ability to let them live for free. While they're living for free, you should be under every bit of your guidance. Every bit of your guidance as the parent and showing them how to navigate life. Otherwise, we're failing them. Yeah.
Do you think that's a part of our culture that we don't know financial literacy enough that the parent is able to teach it? Because you do have some parents, they're not investing. They just, like you said, they do their 401ks and then they wait till they're 65 and, just the basics.
So that's my mom, right? I told you that my mom is, she's successful. She has an amazing job. She has a doctorate, so she has a doctor before her name and she gets paid very well, but my mom believes that you go to school, you get a job and that's what you do. So I'm not saying she's more so against entrepreneurship. Like ever since I was young, I knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew that my time for me is everything. I like to know that no one is telling me what my time is worth or, this is how much I'm going to pay you for this. So that's why in every job I ever worked, I always wanted to go higher and higher. I wanted to know, well, from waitressing, how can I be a bartender? From bartender, how can I be the manager of this place? I always aimed to go higher because I just felt like I want to just come here and make this little bit of pennies that you said. I want to see, what you're doing. So I feel like when you don't know, she wasn't able to teach us because she didn't know. She learned from her parents. You go to school and you make you work hard and you get a good job and that's just it. So she wasn't able to teach me. So did I struggle a lot? I struggled, but I had to do a lot of reading. I had to do a lot of research. I had to talk to people that were entrepreneurs. Hey, and some of them weren't successful, but they were giving me advice the best way they knew how.
Yes.
And the best advice that most entrepreneurs gave me, don't quit your job. Don't up and quit your job and say, because a lot of people out here on Instagram, you see them business this, lash this company, straight cap. They don't have no businesses. They're not making no money. Like you can't, just because you took out an LLC, you are a business owner, but if you're not making any money from that, babe, I need you to keep your job. Don't just up and quit your job because you started a business. It does not work like that. It takes time, guys. When I say it takes time, it takes a long time for some of these businesses to come up off the floor.
All the LLC, anybody can have an LLC, as long as you got a social security number.
Right.
An LLC is always a tax shelter. It's how your business is taxed. That's all it is. Because, I remember because you carry the CEO title because you have an LLC, they got fooled with thinking that. And then on top of it, they give these guys foolish, outlandish trade lines of business credit with high interest rates. I'm like, yo, come on. They giving you bare foolishness. And then I watch so many people. I'm a boss. Somebody just said we were never told. The one thing I will say, Christian, being fair to you, your parents didn't teach you how to have sex. You figured it out. So what I'm saying is the reality is whatever we want to figure out, we can figure out. My mother don't know nothing about financial literacy, but I chose to open books and learn. And the reality is you have to want to do it more than not. I'm not Haitian, but I speak Creole. I've chosen to. So what I'm getting at is if you basically put your mind into a space where you decide, because it's all about a decision at this point, right? And it takes humility to do it. Yeah. I'm gonna humbly say I don't know, and guess what? I'm gonna see a bunch of things online, financial literacy courses. I'm gonna start buying the books. We always speak on Rich Dad Poor Dad. The reason why I love Rich Dad Poor Dad because of the mentality.
I've never read that book, and I heard it's a great book.
It's a mentality. It's great about a mentality. It teaches multiple mentalities. And the issue is most of us have a certain mentality that gives us to keep us in a certain position. And in fairness, my grandmother grew up where everything was supposed to go in the bank because at the time, banks gave you money on your money, a lot of money. Now we're in an economy where banks don't give you a lot unless you have a high yield savings, but yet you still don't make enough. Yeah, because reality is I could put my money into the S&P 500 and I can get about 6 to 8% a year on my money, guaranteed.
That's why I tell people also life insurance, guys, when you do these life insurances and they have cash value, it's good. Am I saying that you're supposed to always take from your cash value? No, but it's good to know when you do a whole life insurance and depends on your policy and you have that cash value. I learned this from entrepreneurs too. You can borrow from that to start a business. You know what I'm saying? So it may mature in 5 or 10 years. You have an extra $10, $15, $20,000. why not use it? You know what I mean? Because I didn't know this until later. I mean, I found out years ago that when you do whole life insurance, I mean, correct, if you guys know better, but from what I know is that the cash value, if you don't use it, it doesn't go to the beneficiary when you die or when the person dies, right? So they don't get the cash value. But if you borrow from it, I know there's an interest that gets slapped onto it, and they'll take it from it if the person passes. But this is what I'm saying. If the money is there to use it when it's there, use it. Because if it builds up and you're not going to get it anyway, what difference does it make?
But you know, the only thing, like, there's a major piece that's missing in that. So people think that once I open up a life insurance policy, I could borrow against it. But that's the way people explain it online. They leave out a major component. It has to build up the value.
Has to build up.
So therefore, that means you have to pay into it.
And it has to be whole life. It can't be term. You can't borrow from term. So the reason why the payout on term is so much higher is because there's no cash value in it. So you'll take out a term policy for like $100 a month, and it's $1 million insurance, but you can't borrow from it. So, but I'm just saying that it takes however long it takes. Let's say 5 years, 10 years, but let's say you took it out when you were 25, and by the time you're 30, 35, you realize you want to start a business, and it's $10,000, $15,000 in it. That's something to borrow from to start a business, and you only owe against yourself. You're borrowing from yourself.
I just think that everybody shouldn't have a business. I don't think everybody's made for business.
I agree.
I don't think everybody has the mental fortitude.
Being an entrepreneur
they have
is
the
very
maturity.
hard.
Because if you sit down and listen to me every day, I don't complain about being a business entrepreneur. I chose that lifestyle, and it is what it is. It comes with the territory. But the reality is, I do see that a lot of people, like with social media, like I tell people, if you're not a great worker, you won't be a great boss. Just so you know that, because every great boss was a great worker. And I'm not talking about the people that inherited their situation. I'm talking about people that built themselves from nothing. They were great workers who built themselves up to be great boss. And again, a lot of times, the people, and Christian, you can DM me too. We can talk about some finances. So you ain't gonna say that nobody taught you. So you can DM me and I will respond. So you heard that on live while I said it, Christian. You know, so we can't keep giving ourselves excuses, because what happens with an excuse, it ultimately allows you to stay stagnated and comfortable in your failure. Because if I keep telling myself I can't play basketball because I'm short, I never pick up the ball.
Right.
And that's what happens is we don't start. It's like, okay, what is a start? Everyone knows doing your research, so therefore you can say the vernacular, the intelligence, the vocabulary that it takes, because in order to get into a certain room, you have to have a mentality that fits that certain room. The thing is, we want to take behaviors and our mentalities into new rooms, and I'm like, you haven't even elevated yourself, because reality, let's not go into a party where everybody has to wear a tuxedo, and you got on a jean jacket suit. You look funny there, right? And that's how some of us behave. We want to get to these new rooms, but I'm like, you have to change your whole mentality first. You got to start working on that. You got to change the audience that you're around. You got to change how you speak. You got to change the way you think about yourself. You got to change a lot of things, because to be honest with you, that comes with the success. Because once you start building yourself up and you stop wanting to be around ignorance, you start wanting to be about more consciousness. And the more you're around consciousness, the more you start really evaluating yourself. People that aren't really confident, they usually hang around people that aren't confident, and they feed each other. I told you plenty of times, from what I've experienced, most popular women that have a lot of female friends, she's a good liar. I promise you. Every girl I've ever met that have a lot of female friends, they lie to them a lot. And that's my experience. And I tell every man I've ever met that have a lot of male friends, he lies a lot too. I've never met most people that are honest. They're not the most popular when it comes to dealing with people, because again, they're genuinely honest. So when you see people that have a lot of friends, I'm already know with that person. When I see loners, I'm more comfortable with them, because I know that loner is more focused on themselves. I told myself, as I've elevated more, I would call my best friend. We don't have the time the way we used to have for each other. No. He's building to retire. He's retiring in 4 years. I'm retiring in like 4 or 5 years also. So we're right at the end, both of us. So he's locked in, I'm locked in. But again, when we talk, a lot of us don't want to hear the truth. Right there in itself, that's why most of us fail. Because you see, I'm here giving spin game and giving knowledge, right? You'll have somebody in the comments that's mad that I'm giving you free knowledge. Because you know why I don't entertain it? Because like I always tell you, I'm going to continue to live my great life. Yeah. Once you know who you are, you don't have to prove anything. Agreed. You don't have to. Because again, I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, yo, guys, buy my course. No, I'm telling you, learn this game.
I think sometimes things, congratulations, Friend Zone. She said I'm borrowing from my policy so that my daughter and myself can open up a slushy/yogurt pop-up. That's a great idea, and that's a good way to do it. But I think that do you feel like a lot of people get discouraged in the entrepreneurship world? I feel like a lot of people go in with the mentality that business is going to just fly off the handle. You see a need, you have to first identify a need for something, right? A demand for something. And then you say you want to do it. A lot of times when people say, well, I don't want to do glosses, I don't want to do lashes. It's not about that you can't do it. When you go to the store, there's not just one brand of bread. You know what I mean? It just depends on preference and what you like. What's different from Q's lashes versus Tyler's and Shay's that you really like, right? But you can't go in with a mentality feeling like it's going to pick up immediately, because if you do that, you're going to fail. So just don't do it. If you don't have the patience and if you don't have the capital, something to back you up to say, you know what, in the event that you need to have at least 6 months to a year of just backing yourself up. Because again, especially if you're going to quit your job, I would never advise anyone to just leave their job to go into a business. Like, I recently opened up a commercial cleaning company, guys. I'm sharing this with you. And it has been hard. It's been really, really, really hard because I didn't want to do houses because I'm like, well, I got my cleaning lady and she takes like 4 or 5 hours. I'm not trying to go clean no house. I'm not cleaning no house. My first few jobs was houses because I wasn't able to get the commercial businesses immediately because some of these places already had their cleaning company. Who am I? I'm coming to them telling them that I'm offering this. They're asking me questions and I'm like, it's not that I didn't do my research, but their cleaning company did all of that. So, so now I find myself still selling myself. I've had to spend money to promote my business. So I had to get certain merch, certain things to present myself to these companies to come in and say, hey, just new to this company, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to sell myself. So it's hard. It's really, really hard.
You want to know something scary? And this is why I tell most people why they're not made for entrepreneurship. Imagine going to work 80 hours a week, and at the end of the week, you're the last person to get paid. That's entrepreneurship. And let's say 3 to 5 years, it usually takes for a business to start seeing any level of profit, right? Let's say 5 years on a comfortable level, right? 5 years. 5 years is 60 months. Imagine going to work 80-hour weeks for 60 months and paying yourself last every single time. Because the reality is all your expenditures go out first and the owner gets paid last.
But Q, what about some people who don't get paid? What about some entrepreneurs who
the first 3 to 5
can't even
years.
take a paycheck? Like some entrepreneurs, guys, they're not even they don't take home $1 from business for so long, just while they try to push their businesses. That's what I'm telling you guys. If you could put money into something that you could borrow from, it's the best and easiest way to just at least start something.
I'll be honest with you, stocks.
Whatever it is, stocks, whether it's insurance, something that you can borrow from is just the easy way to do it. Don't go in your bank account. Don't go take out no personal loan where the interest rate is going to be damn near double. Don't do that. Don't have your expenses at a low. You don't need a new car. You don't need anything on your credit right now. If you are trying to be an entrepreneur, try to keep your credit as clean as you can keep it.
But again, it's being comfortable knowing that, these are the responsibilities. I got to handle these first. Like, I see some people, they're late to pay their rent because they went shopping.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's somebody that shouldn't be in the business or even think about business. But again, that's the mentality of people where they watch social media, and the issue is, I think why a lot of people do get discouraged is because a lot of people that's online, they're pretending. Yes. I've been self-employed since I was 21 years old. 21 years old. You know how hard it is to be a 21-year-old self-employed guy and to buy a bunch of real estate, right? Meaning you had to pay taxes every year. Imagine getting all your money up front and then you have to pay the taxes at the end of the year. Most people don't have that maturity when it comes to money. Let's just say hypothetically you make $100,000, right? Let's just make $100,000. $100,000 on average is about 30-something% of taxes. Let's make it 30 to make it clean so the numbers is easy. That's $30,000 that you have to send Uncle Sam at the end of the year. After your four quarters, your 12-month calendar, you got to send Uncle Sam $30,000. And now let's make it even worse. You made $1 million. You got to send him $300,000. How many people have that level of maturity where they can say, you know what? I can get all my cash up front. That's why some people, they have to work jobs because why? It takes out your Social Security. It takes out your taxes. It takes out everything before you even touch it. Because some people, if they've got all their money up front, man, they'll be in jail because they're not going to pay.
Yeah.
They're going to be in such tax deficits every year because they're not responsible or mature enough. And that's the issue when you're having these conversations. Everyone wants to be this boss, and its mentality is because of social media. You have 95% of them are lying. And you know the worst show, and I'm sorry to say this, is Pop the Balloon. Every time I watch Pop the Balloon, every person on there
Q hate
owns a
that show.
business. Everyone on there owns a business. I don't own it because of the idea that the husband and wife built. I hate it because of the mentality you have to present to be on it. For instance, you'll have a person who hasn't done anything with their life. They're 22 years old. They know they have it. They'll be like, I own my own merchandise business. Another one comes on, I own my own this business. I own my own this business. I own my own Airbnb business. And I'm like, why does every entrepreneur goes on this show? Because it's clearly lies. And the term entrepreneur doesn't necessarily mean successful, just so y'all know that. Entrepreneur could be a nice way of saying I'm broke. Entrepreneur could be a nice way of saying I'm broke. Influencer could be a nice way of saying I'm broke. It's just what it is, but people get offended with the truth. I'm like, I don't worry about nothing. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
What I don't like about that
Content
show,
creators, another
though,
one.
since we on the Pop the Balloon, I feel like, and for a lot of women, I feel like before some of these guys even open their mouths, I mean, you just hear pop, 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 like gunshots going off. And it'll be for like some of the silliest things like, oh, I didn't like your haircut. I didn't like the outfit. I didn't like the shoes. Like, are we really that superficial where we looking at men and it's like that is going to be like your foundation of what a relationship is based on, is his shoes or his outfit? Because you see a lot of that. Am I lying?
No.
You see a lot of that. I don't really
Superficial
see.
and shallow.
And you have the men that'll pop. And what I see a lot of men pop for, though, which is so crazy, you hear a lot of men will pop and be like, you know what? That outfit is just wouldn't be something I could probably take her home to meet my mom. Like, they'll be like, it's a little too provocative for me. It's a little too this. It's a little too that. You didn't really hear a lot of them popping, from what I've seen. It's because it's like, I didn't like her shoes, or I didn't like her hair, or I didn't like her this. Like, ladies, we gotta look a little deeper than that.
So that goes to our segment and our question: glorifying ignorance in relationships. What's the
Stop
difference?
moving the mic, though.
What's the difference between wanting a relationship and being ready for a relationship?
I think wanting a relationship is just feeling like you need to have somebody and just you don't want to be lonely. I think a lot of people don't want to be lonely and you feel like you need someone to complete you. When I showed Tyler this clip, the woman compared it to when you go, she said, never go to the grocery store when you're full because you're just going to start picking things up. You're going to start just picking everything up. You got to kind of know yourself first. Like we always say, that's when you'll know what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to just go out there feeling like just because I'm lonely and I feel like I need somebody, I want someone to talk to someone. I want someone. Yeah, go to when you're hungry. I'm sorry. Yes. Don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry. Sorry. You just, I don't know, like elaborate on that, Q. I feel like the loneliness will just force us into just accepting anything. Now we just want to date anybody because I'm lonely. So any guy that comes up to me, a nice little sweet talk, nice little whatever, I don't know me yet, especially if you just got out of a relationship. People are dating straight out of a relationship, like you always say, carrying that trauma from the last one before you even healed from that. You know what I mean?
The one thing, right, I've seen situations where people, they want mates. And the only issue I have is when a person is looking for a mate, but they can't complement a healthy relationship because they're not healthy people themselves. And when you talk to people who have expectations, that's one thing, but there are people that have requirements that they don't even meet themselves. And that's why I personally feel that dating wise, I'm nervous with the nuance of people that's trying to look for mates because you have people, the scariest thing is when you can meet a 30, 40, 50-year-old person who believes that their life is not fully developed because they haven't found the right person. That is, when I listen to that statement, that is so scary to me, that a person who thinks their life is not together fully because they haven't found the right person. And I'm like, damn, you didn't buy a house that you wanted, you didn't save any money, you didn't do really anything besides look good on social media all these years, and you think that you've been waiting for Mr. or Mrs. Right, and you haven't done anything for yourself? I'm nervous when I see people like that. And it's scary because that's where the entitled mentality you see in the culture, heavy on the entitlement, where people believe I deserve or I'm warranted something I haven't even given myself. If a person has a master's degree, let's say a woman, I can understand why she said that she's very attracted to highly educated men. I can understand why. It makes sense because she seems like an intellect, I would assume, right? So therefore, I can understand why an intellect would be looking for an intellect. So I can understand. But if I'm looking at somebody right now who hasn't done pretty much of anything, and they're looking for somebody who's done everything, and they think that they should get that person, that's what I hate about.
But you
this
think
whole
everybody just wants someone though when it's all said and done? Like, you can have all the money in the world, you can have the nicest house and the nicest car. Do you think that when it's all said and done, we all just, I'm not saying need, but just want someone that we could go home to at the end of the night to just, that is our person?
Yes. The issue is I feel like with that, yes, I think that's yes. But I do believe that most people want people that don't want them. And what they have in their mind that wants to date them, don't see them or don't want them. And the issue with the lying is someone who's genuinely in love with you and want to be with you and go through the storms with you, that's becoming such a rarity in today's society, is because that person don't look like what they supposed to look like in reality. That's vision in your head. In your head, you have this perception of this person. Oh my God, she has to be this, she has to be that. She has to be this, she has to be that, or he has to be this, he has to be that. But in reality, those will be more so your sexual encounters than they will actually be the person that want to put a ring on you or a person that wants to spend the rest of their life with you. But when you tell people that, they get mad, I'm like, look, you have created this person in your brain that you believe is waiting for you because you feel so entitled that this person who's built their life up to the highest pinnacle of life wants you. And you tell me that ain't narcissistic as hell, I don't know what it is.
Getting out of the fact of even someone who builds, I think everyone just has an idea. I don't think you shouldn't have some level of standards, and I don't think the standards always has to throw in financial. I don't think it always has to be someone looking for someone who's built themselves up and makes the most money.
Can I be fair?
I think sometimes
I think most people will end up being single because they left somebody or they ran someone away thinking that someone is out there better looking for them. I'm being honest.
You think that better
100%.
For most women it's financial?
I think women overvalue finances and they respect finances and don't respect a man who don't have a lot of finances. And the issue, why do I have to buy respect from a woman? I can carry my own water. I have my own. I'm responsible. I'm financially and psychologically mature. I'm dealing with all my responsibilities. I think that's a safe man to date.
That is, but a lot of men aren't even like that.
No, they are, but y'all overlook those guys.
A lot of men
because
aren't
I'm
like
gonna be
that.
honest with you, in my fairness, and with modern women, I could put them in a room with 10 men, and 2 out of the 10 are good. They're gonna look past the 2 that are good, and they're gonna date all the 8 that are wrong. And the reason being is because they look at the wrong things when it comes to dating.
So what do you think are some of the main things? What do you think are 3 main things that women look for when dating a man that are the wrong things to look for when dating a man?
There's a saying, I didn't create it. It's called tall, dark, and handsome. I didn't create it. Y'all created that. I don't think a man said women want tall, dark. I think women created that narrative, tall, dark, and handsome. You asked me 3 things. I just gave tall, dark, and handsome. That's what they've created. So reality is, most women, I hate to say this, they looking for the same man. And that man knows that. And
so for women, you think it's more physical and financial?
I think women, it's whatever she's creating in her head, like in her mind, whatever she believes she warranted. Because, and we all know quite a few women who are not that attractive, and they talk like they 12s, and in their mind, they believe that they're baddies. And I'm like, you can't say nothing to them because, again, it seems like you're attacking them. And I'm like, I have friends and family that's like that. And I'm like, damn, like, I don't want to say nothing to them because, again, they're in their own head. And the sad part is the men that they're talking about look right past them every single day. And I'm like, you walk around, just think of this, you walk around every day and these men are not hounding over you and chasing you. That means you're clearly not the upper echelons of beauty. And there's nothing wrong with that. When you tell a woman you average, she takes it as an insult. But the only thing about an average woman, when she don't know she's average looking, when she don't do the things that make her substantially better than average. She's very sweet, she's respectful, she carries herself with elegance, she's classy. That's how a woman start elevating. I've seen guys will tell you, my wife is a 3, but when you sit down and listen to this woman, she's an 8.
You got men that tell you their wives are 3s? They tell you that?
Yes. We talk straight with each other. They'll tell you, they won't say, they'll be like, my woman ain't that attractive, but she does this, she does that, she does this. And the things that he needs, she compliments him. So I do believe that as you get older as a man, you definitely look for things that compliment you more opposed to things that look good standing next to you. Most men young-minded. They look for what looks good next to them, but they don't look for things that stand next to them and help them build better. Because again, a table needs two legs, and when the table don't have two legs, it's unbalanced. I know a lot of men who are literally changing the tire while the baddie's sitting in the car fixing her makeup. And meanwhile, she's not even a baddie.
Right.
But he's insecure with himself, and he's like, yo, I know women that'll be like, yo, I'm getting out there and fighting with my man. I'm gonna be there to the end with my man. Those are the women that, the men that have built themselves, that's what they're looking for more, right? If you notice, I'll give you a story. NBA players, right, they have like a 90% divorce rate. You know that? NBA players have like a 90% divorce rate. If you look at that reasoning why, right, it's because of the fact that they look just for the physicality. It's like a guy that didn't have anything, or he wasn't the man growing up, but he could play basketball. Now when he get, what's the number? Read it.
There's no official or scientifically verified divorce rate, but they said the numbers have merged as high as 90%.
Okay, 90%. So let's even make it 80 to be fair. 80%. That means 8 out of 10 marriages in the NBA fail. 2 out of 10 are successful. But the one thing I've noticed is like a lot of those guys, they go look for women just because of their looks, and they think that these women love them for who they are. And I find it disheartening because I'm like, those are the men that lead with their resources. Because I know guys that, you know, I got a few friends that are currently retired and play in the NBA as we speak, and they're very modest. And you would never guess. Like, you would never guess it unless you know who they are.
But just the way that you said with women, that's, you said we created that. So I'm not asking you for men. Why do men do that? If just don't really see sometimes past the physicality. Why
Because
is it that some men are just,
like
that is just a thing that,
like that
you do?
It's in our DNA. We're very visual creatures.
Okay.
And what happens is as a man matures, he learns how to master it, where he looks beyond looks. And then he gets to the point where he's more, and his intimacy is more psychological than it is physical.
Okay.
Once you get to a certain level, level of maturity, it becomes, if she can't stimulate your brain, you don't even want to touch her. I'm saying, I told you, like a beautiful airhead could walk past me naked and I don't even see it. But again, I'm at a point with my life where looks is not everything to me anymore.
Right.
Where I'm like, okay, she's cute, but she can't even, her favorite color is 3. Her favorite number is blue. I'm like, that's not somebody I'm entertaining. Like, it's just what it is. But again, when you listen to certain conversations, the people that haven't reached certain levels, they don't understand it. And because again, when you're so purposeful and you own your purpose, women become second nature to your purpose. Your purpose become your drive more. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and I'm gonna be honest with you. From my experience, the horniest men I've ever met in my life are the brokest men I've ever met in my life. The horniest men I've ever met in my life are the brokest men in my life. They always horny. They always thirsty. They always want girls. They're always chasing. And I'm like, bro, you haven't chased your better self ever in your life, and this is why you still broke. Because your priorities is disengaged from reality. All you care about is fulfilling your sexual desires and not your financial desires. That's all you care about, is satisfying your financial desire, your sexual desires. And nothing financially. And I promise you, once he's really built himself up, he said, what exactly you can say? Broke is all relative. Somebody can have 10,000, somebody can have 100,000, somebody can have 1 million. It's all about what makes you feel comfortable with yourself. What makes you feel like you've accomplished. You know where you come from. I know some people whose parents never had $1 saved. And I know some people that got 10,000. They've done a lot comparable to where they come from. And I reward them and commend them and give them a round of applause. No, respectfully. Because again, it depends on what's success to you. But what I tell people is, the people that aren't successful, they envy people that are successful because of they wish they were in their positioning. When a person is comfortable with a person being successful and they're comfortable in their own success, that person is genuinely comfortable who they are. But if you're jealous of someone else's success, that means you're not comfortable with yourself. So therefore, you envious and jealous of others who are successful. Catch that? You know what I'm saying? But again, it's all relative. Like, I don't tell nobody, if you notice, I don't never say numbers because again, it's all relative. Somebody could have wanted a 5-bedroom house. Somebody could have wanted a 3-bedroom house. Somebody could have wanted a 10-bedroom house. As long as the guy that wanted the 3-bedroom house is not jealous of the guy with the 5-bedroom house, and the guy that wanted the 5-bedroom house, he shouldn't be jealous of the guy that wanted the 10-bedroom house. That's what he wanted. Why are you mad? Oh, that's too much house for one person. Why are you jealous? Like, don't be jealous. If that's what they wanted, God bless them. It is what it is. I'm saying? Yeah. And someone said, can you repeat that? It's the truth. Just don't be jealous. Don't be envious of others' level of success that they want to go to. If you tell me, yo, Q, I want a helipad in the backyard of my house, I'm going to say, Shay, you got some work to do. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But again, I tell people all the time, my goal is to be the best version of self and not worry about anyone else level of success. I'm focused on myself. I use people for inspiration, and I also use people for where I don't want to go with my life. I'm not gonna lie, I use people for two things. I use people for inspiration, and the other one is where I don't want to be with my life. And I'm comfortable enough to say, yo, that's not where I want to be with my life. Right, go ahead.
So to track back to what you said, when you have a friend or whoever asking you, oh yeah, I want to have a helicopter pad in my backyard,
Yes.
and you say, hey, you got a lot of work to do. When you say, hey, you got a lot of work to do, in this generation, a lot of people take offense to little things. Or
That
how you
person
say
will not be
things.
successful.
Yeah, so like I have a buddy, not to say his business, but the man has 2 kids now. He's living in his stepfather's basement, and he's collecting cars. But when you tell him like, hey, you got to put on your big boy pants, he gets offended, and now, he's giving me the silent treatment. I have no time for that. I'm a grown man, you're a grown man. We're not kids, you're not a female. So it's how do you be careful when you say, hey, you got some work to do, and you got to worry about somebody becoming very sensitive?
Let me ask you a question before you put the mic down. If you have a friend that comes out, and let's just use a point, a good friend of yours, and you love him as a friend, he tells you he's gay, would you treat him different?
No.
Okay, that's a real friend. So if this person loves you for you and you telling him your honest truth and he can't accept your honest truth, that mean that person ain't really your friend. So if I go to my friend and tell him like, yo, bro, I think you need to grow up a little bit, and they getting offended, that mean I'm just outgrowing this person, bro. And now comfortably and respectfully, it's time to leave them where they are. But just hopefully that person don't envy you for climbing the ladder. And that mean that person's not your friend. Because that person is looking for somebody to carry him up the ladder and not go up the ladder with you.
And it's funny that you just said that they're envying me, because the same car I have, then they bought a car that looks just like mine. Same brand, same everything. I'm like, all right, so do
It's a
I separate
competition.
myself?
I would, because I'm gonna be honest with you fairly, like it's after you get to a certain age and certain time in life where you start telling yourself always the truth. Like I don't lie to myself about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I know what I need to work on, I know what I don't need to work on. I'm just transparent. And on top of it, I have a vision board, I have a truth board. I have a vision and a truth board right next to each other in my office. And I tell myself 100% truth. I know what I need to work on, and I also have the vision where I want to go in my life. And again, I don't let people, see, when you tell us a big dream to a small-minded person, the big dream becomes obsolete, because the small-minded person, they get envious of your big dream. So therefore, you shouldn't tell small-minded people big dreams, because they get offended. If you're getting offended I'm getting offended by your big dream, and I call myself your friend, I should be like, damn, you got it, girl, go get it. Go do it. If that's what you really want, and that's what's your life requirement for you to feel successful and for you to be comfortable, why not? Why not? You got anything?
I'm just listening and
So
agreeing with what
back to
you're
the
saying.
question. The topic today is what? Yeah, what's the topic today?
Stop glorifying ignorance.
Why do we glorify ignorance so
Why do we-
much?
So you showed me a clip and you asked me, how do I feel about this? How does Q feel about this as well? And it said that should black women start dating like white women? What do you feel about that?
Black women should start what?
Dating
I
like
didn't even
white
really
women.
know what that meant when
Dating
it
like
said,
white women?
should black women start dating like white women? Like, that's such a bold, blank statement to make. Like, how do white women date versus how black women date? Like, I don't know what that means. Like, how do we date versus what is it that white women look for that you feel like black women don't look for? What are some examples that you think? Have you ever dated a white woman?
I mean, I've dated all races, all
Okay.
cultures, but I think he was saying more so in the structure aspect of.
Explain it better. Go more depth. I didn't see the video.
So he was explaining more so the structure aspect on like how things are more family orientated and like it's not really transactional, but that's not true because anybody could be transactional.
100%.
But it's just more so just the approach to how they date. They're more softer, so they say they're more feminine. So that's why he thinks that maybe they should date like them because they would keep the man longer.
I think interracial dating. So I've dated black guys. I've dated white guys. Married to an Indian guy. I can say that there are what?
The United Nations.
Yes, Quincy. World Cup. And I can say that to me, there definitely is a difference in how you are treated. Please guys, don't come at me for this.
It's your experience.
And a lot of times people say my experience is my evidence.
That's it.
I feel like the white men, I've dated 2 white guys. The white 2 that I have dated, they court differently. I feel like they were more catering to, if that makes sense, in my opinion. They're more catering to. I'm not gonna say, my relationship with black guys, not per se were bad, but a lot of it was toxic, a lot of fights, a lot of arguments, a lot of going back and forth, a lot of B words, a lot of this, a lot of just was very toxic. And I think it created that person in me too. I took that. It was most of the guys that I dated were black guys, to be honest with you. So it just took a lot of that into other relationships. I didn't know how to be treated softly. I didn't really know how to be treated nicely because I knew how to get mad. I knew how to argue. And I'm not saying those guys did it to me, but that was just what our relationship was. We got loud with each other. You were saying F this, N this, B this, and that's just how we communicated. Dating a white guy, he didn't communicate like that. He was calling me the N-word. I was calling him the N-word. So we had to find a different way. It was just a very different experience for me, but it kind of softened me up a little bit for me. It softened me up a lot more and realized okay, this is just what we're not going to do. So I don't know how to say how black women date versus how white women date. I don't really know how that.
I will say from what I think though, I think, well, me and my cousin was just talking about this the other day, and she said, personally, she's a lawyer. She said, it's weird because in her line of work, it's mostly dominant white males. And she said the one thing I realized is with dating white guys, I will date the nerd white guy. Mm-hmm. She said, but when I dated black men, I wanted the roughest, toughest black man. So she said, so realistically, she has a bias with her dating experience on black men and white men, but she's never dated a quote unquote nerdier black guy. Mm-hmm. So she's never dated those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. The black guys she's dated has more edge. Rough. So therefore, reality is there is a difference because of you're not choosing the same kind of person. Like someone wrote earlier, I think her name was Leslie or something like that. She said it's not the she said it's the way you're raised, so it's not your ethnicity, which she's right. Because the reality is the person that you're comparing, you have to make sure they have similar upbringings. For instance, if I had a guy right here who's standing here, A, who has a mother and father, been raised in marriage, and then I have a B guy who has been raised in a single parent, and the mother was very vocal and very verbally abusive, chances are he's gonna spew that same mentality and anger because of what he's seen. And vice versa, for the man that grew up with both parents, they're less likely to see that because why? They grew up in a household where the father had more self-control. So when you're comparing apples to oranges, that's completely unfair because you have to make sure that you see that this person has similar aesthetics, right? Because you'll see more people that have the same kind of upbringing, they're more alike than not. So for instance, you'll take a black kid who grows up in a predominantly white area, first thing they're gonna say is he acts white. No, he acts his environment, right? You take that same white kid, you put him in a hood black area, he's gonna act his environment. So that's not fair when we have these conversations. Think about it, you got a white kid, you put him in the worst black area you can possibly put him. He's not gonna be Beverly Hills white. He's gonna be more so the environment. And even if I take that black kid, I put him in a trailer park white area,
right?
He's gonna be chasing goats and more hillbilly-like because of what he's seen and what he grew up. It's just what it is. Someone said Eminem, that's a perfect analogy and a perfect example. So it depends on how you grew up.
A lot of people are against interracial dating though, and I don't see why. I think people should date for who they love. I think it's when when we talked about this before, when you're out there looking for that person thinking that they're just a better trophy for you to carry around, like I think we brought up, I don't know if it was the last episode or before that, we were saying like a lot of times you see these black men become successful and now they don't want to date black women anymore. Now they want to date like a Spanish girl, a white girl or whatever. I think when you're dating for that reason, it's different. But I feel like if you're dating for love and you fall in love, whether it's a black woman, white guy, black girl, white, it doesn't, who cares?
I just don't like when you talk a black man or black woman and they believe that the great white hope is their savior. I don't respect them.
Well, that's crazy. But
no, that's not crazy. That's very common.
I don't know if people, I don't know if I believe that I would be saved by a white man, but I just feel like I know a lot of women that say they would never date a white guy. A lot of black women or a lot of black men that say, you know, I would never date a white girl. Like, ew, what do we have in common? What do we have in this? But do you have a preference when it comes to character? If you're dating someone for who they are, does it matter what they look like?
They still you know should be attracted to what they're attracted to. Some people just not attracted to black. You got some white guys that are not attracted to black women. I do believe that some white people also see black people as an experiment. Some black people see white people as an experiment. Right. And I do know that people do want to try other cultures because, you know what I'm saying? They just want to experiment. So it's just you never know.
But love the reality is not a color cue. I feel like love is a feeling. It's if you go into something saying I would never date this kind of person, that kind of person, you're already like discrediting 25, 30, 40, 50% of men by just saying, I don't, it's kind of like tall, dark, and handsome. If I'm immediately saying, well, you know what, I'm almost 5'8", so I'm tall. I never date a guy that's shorter than me. I'll never date a guy that's fat. I'll never date a guy that has a beard. I'll never date come on. You know what I'm saying?
I will be fair to you though, right? And I'm not going to say his name because I do respect him as an athlete, and he's always showed great character as a person. So I'm not going to say his name, but y'all can put summarize the story and put it together yourself. You say the name, you choose to say it, but I'm not going to say it. But this particular athlete, when he dated a black woman, white guy, he acted completely different from when he married now this white celebrity woman. He doesn't show the same character from when he was with the black girl to now he's married to this white celebrity. He's a completely different person. And everybody, if y'all agree with me, yes or no, he's a completely different person. From when he was with the black woman, that was, I guess, his fiance at the time. Okay. Right? I think she's also an influencer. So everybody say totally. He's not the same person.
Who y'all talking about? Somebody type it in the chat.
They saying it. They said the name 100 times.
I didn't see it.
Know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not going to say his name. Right, you go right there. Right? But if you go look at the behaviors he had when he was with the black woman, and then you go see the behaviors that he had when he was with a white woman, it's two different characters. But the one thing I will always say this too, if you change who you are to be in a relationship, you never knew who you really was. So the reality is a person like that is a loser, and that's a sucker, whether male or female.
What has he changed though? Because I don't know.
He's who he really is. Because I think that when he dated there's another athlete that dates a black woman who actually is comfortable still being himself as a white man, but still has certain mannerisms and behaviors that he shows, like Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki shows that he has a black wife, but he's still Dirk Nowitzki. So again, that's a person that genuinely loves who he loves, right? But again, when you take a person, like say if I see you and you start dating a white guy and now you completely switch up your whole character, I'm like, fam, you clearly didn't know who you was, and vice versa. If a white guy changes completely to be with a black girl, don't get me wrong, we should learn each other's cultures. That's respect.
But we still are who we are. Right?
Yes, you're still who you are. The baseline of who you are is the baseline of who you are. But the reality is if you start changing your character completely to be in this relationship, you never knew who you was. You were just trying to be with anybody. Go ahead.
Well, you think so silly because he has his own money.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, don't be a culture vulture. So that's the thing, because I don't discriminate when it comes to women. I love black, white, Hispanic. I've been there, done that.
And what are you?
So I'm black.
I just want to know because they don't know.
Yeah, so I'm 27-year-old black man. Been there, done that. But my thing is this also. Like Q, you said exactly what I was gonna say, so it saved me more time. But there's people who, when it comes to like fighting, so for example, you're black and you're dating someone who's white. When it comes to fighting, sometimes people go through situations and they end up calling you out of your name, like the N-word and stuff like that. Yeah. That's where it's like, okay, should you date somebody out of your race?
I think then you know that person was racist.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, if you choose to date somebody and they're not comfortable with your culture, then you shouldn't even be with that person. If you're changing your character completely to be in a relationship, that's unhealthy. And I'm gonna tell you something, the longer you play a character, it's either one or two things happen. You get stuck in this belief of this character, or the second thing is, you get tired of being that character. You're gonna get tired of it. Either you're gonna get stuck trying to be this character, or B, you're gonna get tired of being that character.
Yeah, but changing yourself to date someone, whether it's race or finances, because that could go for people who, if you dating somebody with money or you dating somebody that's super educated, now you want to act like you super smart. You AI in every text message to respond because you don't even know the meaning of little 6-7 letter words. Like, I don't think that's really not knowing who you are. That's definitely low vibration, as Q would say. Like, we out here changing ourselves at this big age to date people.
Listen, I do know some people. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna be fair and honest. I know black people, when they're around white people, they completely.
Oh yeah. Not cooning.
They start cooning.
Not cooning.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and being fair, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I see that more in educated blacks than non-educated blacks. And I'm gonna be fair. Someone gonna get mad, but I don't care. I tell my truth.
Like
From my experience, I see more educated blacks coon when they get around white people more than non-educated blacks. I'm just saying. One thing about Q, black, white, blue, or green, Q is gonna continue to be Q. I don't care who's in the room, because again, don't misrepresent yourself in front of nobody. So therefore, you don't get stuck in a faulty character, right? These guys, what is that? The NPCs, non-character players. That's a lot of people. They're NPCs. Don't get me wrong. Code switching is when you're in a professional setting and you have to adjust to being a professional setting.
Right.
That's called code switching. But the date in code switch is diabolical. I mean, every time you come around this person, you have to code switch.
You have to, yeah.
Lord have mercy. At least for the 8 hours I'm getting paid to do it.
Can I tell y'all a story? I pray to God none of my family is watching. And I don't know why it bothered me, y'all. We talking, right? We talking. I went to this event with a family member, and it was her hospital, and the chief of the nursing and this and that was there. And, you know, we're all kind of standing by the bar, and, you know, she had her food and her drink. And when she walked off, she said to the family member that I went with, like, if you just watch my stuff, I got to run over there real quick.
Wow.
She was like, I was like, it's a little, who told her that we wanted to still stand here? But I didn't say nothing. I'm watching her, and I'm like, you want to go sit? And she's kind of like, I got her stuff. And I'm like, you're not at work. Like, we chilling. Like, tell her to, somebody else go get her plate or put a cover on it and leave it right there. Like, you don't have to say.
She kisses her behind her.
But sat there and kind of just stayed and waited. So now I'm walking off mingling because I don't even work here. I'm at this party. Yeah. But that, I feel like, is kind of where you're like, going back to a little slavery mentality. Like, we are at a work, at an event. You don't have to sit here and watch us because she's the chief of anything. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, I didn't like that. That made me mad, y'all.
That's that.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It was just because she was going for a minute. Like, I came back and I was like,
because she know that lady kissed her behind.
I'm still here.
There's some people though that they can't get besides themselves in their titles. And once they have a title, they let their title go to their head. There are people that I've met throughout my life where whatever they do for a living, they just can't turn it off. Sometimes I don't like dealing with police officers because they feel like they're always cops. And I'm like, you know, you have to know there's a time and a place, right? Everything you do shouldn't be your character. All right? You do that for a living. When you're on the clock, you do your job. But once you're off the clock, listen, calm down, bro.
yeah, cops do be doing that.
You know, I tell a lot of my cop friends, a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, just be mindful, brother. Like, a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich, bro. Like, yo, bro, don't go get yourself hurt being extra, bro. Like, just go get your check.
Bartending one time, and this cop, he was off duty, but I guess they could carry their guns if they off duty too, I guess. So he had his gun. He was in regular clothes, and he got into an argument with somebody at the bar and pulled his gun out on him. And I was like,
because
what?
he's a sucker
years
without
ago,
it.
But I was like,
I hope you heard that. He's a sucker without it. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if you aren't a sucker without it, then you will know how to behave even with it.
Even with it, yeah.
Because if it gives you a sense of authority or power, then that means you're a sucker before you got the job. Yeah. There are corny dudes that get jobs, there are corny women that get certain jobs, and they abuse their positioning based on the fact that they have a title. I see men do it, I see women do it. And the one thing is, I told myself, no matter what level I'm at, I'm never gonna change.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I have a Ferrari in my driveway and jump out of an Uber. I don't care. Who are you trying to impress?
But people
did
do
you buy
that,
Did you buy that
people
Ferrari for
that.
you, or did you buy it for what people see when they see you in it? That's when you got to really start asking yourself. And that's really where you lose yourself and you start having something called an identity crisis. Because then you start realizing, like, let's say if hypothetically you build up and you start falling down, that's the person that stayed broke trying to keep themselves looking like they still up.
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Material things don't define character.
It
That's
don't.
a fact.
It don't.
Like, I don't go by that. Like, that's why I say I feel like I could date somebody who made $50,000-$60,000 as long as they had ambition. I feel like ambition to me is everything. As long as that person was good, they had ambition, they had drive, they were doing things they need to do. For real. You don't believe me, Tyler? You don't think I could date somebody that made that? I mean, that's not a lot of money, but I'm saying ambition. If we could put it together and make it work, a lot of people out here, they don't have no ambition. They don't want to do any better than what they're doing. A lot of people out here ain't making a ton of money. It's not a lot of people out here that make six figures. It seems like they do, but a lot of people don't. $60,000, $70,000 is really base salary for a lot of people. And that's a lot. So I'm just saying I could see potential, even at my big age, I could see the potential if you're striving to do something, if you have the ambition. But it's a lot of people out here that...
I will say the one thing I don't like about the dating world today is people want people to be them. Then I tell people, when you want somebody to be you, you should date yourself.
Average income in the U.S. is $50K.
It is. But the reality is if I'm looking for a partner,
right,
usually it's going to be your opposite. And your opposite is usually what gives you a balance. When you're dating and you're looking for the person, everything sounds good on paper and in movies. I'm a lawyer, she's a lawyer, and we both make six figures, and we bought a big old house, and that sounds good in a movie. But then when you live in the reality, you start realizing, like, wait, this is not working. This person gives me no attention. This person only cares about their career.
Yeah.
And then you start realizing that the things that you really needed, you're not really getting because you put the look over your reality. And that's where I say people have to be mindful when choosing a mate.
Right.
Looking for someone that genuinely loves them for when they're winning, they're losing, and they're drawing. Because the reality is life has wins, life has losses, and life has draws. And if you don't realize that, you might be in your winning season when you met them, but let's see how this person act when you're going through your losing season. And that's one thing as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs know every single season. We felt it. And the people who work at jobs, they may never felt it. When you feel like the corporate job, they feel it when they start doing layoffs.
Yes.
That's when they start to feel that tight squeeze.
But I think telling someone to date no matter what season, yes, but I think that stagnancy is something that you shouldn't tell people to accept either. I think that people should want to grow from one place to the next. Supporting an individual, whether it's your supporting your mate is one thing, but I need you to grow. There needs to be a point from A to B. We can't be stagnant and then you feel like you're just going to stand behind stagnancy. That's not a thing, because sometimes it just takes one bad fruit to just rot the whole bunch. And someone else's stagnancy will be yours. It's just like you said, you hang around broke people, you're going to be broke forever.
Yes.
You hang around people that are just lazy, you're going to be lazy forever. So if you're staying in a relationship that is not moving, then where is the growth? You know, I could stand by you and I could push you and I could help you. Babe, what are we doing? Okay, you doing this, I'm doing this. We're going to make it work. But if at some point that stagnancy just remains in complacency forever, and I gotta...
But my theory, the only theory I have with when it comes to women and what they want from their men, a lot of times women want these things from men because they want it to benefit them.
Well, we're not talking about those. Let's not talk about the ones who want the benefit.
No, I'm just saying the woman, in most cases, if this man is comfortable being where he is and he doesn't need you to carry any of his water, he fetches his own water and he's comfortable where he's at, I don't think it's right of somebody to try to challenge somebody to want more.
That's not what I said.
Hold on, let me finish. I ain't cut you off either.
That's not what I said,
Can I finish
though?
my point, though? I'm just saying it's not right to want somebody to want more because you want more.
But that's not what I said. I didn't say wanting someone to want more. I said if you're going to be in a relationship takes two.
Yes.
Now it's not just me and you. A marriage takes two. It's not just you and you.
Yes.
So I'm saying if you're in something that's stagnant, growth is in relationships and marriages regardless.
Yes.
Not just about, oh, well, I feel comfortable right here and I'm not imposing on you and this. That's not what it is. No one imposes their will on anyone else, but we should still grow together.
But
You
my
want to
question-
still
my
get
question
from
is-
A to B to C.
But why does when a woman say growth, like growing in a relationship and growing economically is two different growths? Would you agree?
Of course.
So why does when a woman want to grow financially, automatically they grow apart from the man because of finances? Why is that? And
When a man grows financially,
we don't grow apart from our women. We take on more responsibilities when it comes to bills and responsibilities. When a woman grows financially, why does she look down on a man now because she's elevated financially? Why is it that? Do you guys agree with that statement? When a man grows, he wants to take over more responsibility and give his family more. But when a woman grows, why do they become so selfish? So I'm asking, like, a question is: are you growing because of feeding your own ego and the things you want? Are you growing for your family?
I think women who do that are definitely wrong, because I don't think that. I think if you're with someone, my growth should be your growth. My come up should be your come up, because I have that expectation of you as well. So I would never come up in a relationship and be selfish enough to now look at my man as somebody, or my husband, or whoever your mate is, as someone that's insignificant to me anymore or useless to me because I'm doing more.
Could you
Because
see
they're
could you
part
see
of
yourself
us.
paying, like if you're making more money, you could see yourself paying on a mortgage?
If I'm making more money, yeah. And if you needed me to do that, for sure.
But I'm asking you a question. Now let's remove Shay, all right? Now Shay's thrown away for a second, okay?
Don't throw me away. Don't do that.
No, we're going to bring her back.
Okay.
Right now she's up to the side for a second. Now we're just having a general conversation. Do you think that most women can honestly respect a man and they're paying the bulk of the bills? Even though he's a good man, he's loyal and responsible? Let me see if you're going to be genuine. Remove Shay, talking in general.
I think there are a lot
That's
of
not what I
women
asked
who
you?
wouldn't. I can't say
Okay,
most. Stop
okay.
asking me for most. I
Okay.
can't say most. I cannot
Okay.
speak for most. But I think a lot
Okay.
of women would not respect a man if they had to bear the bulk of the financial
So
burden.
this is my logic now, right? Everyone has a level of comfort that they want to be at.
Okay.
And it's not my right or your right or his right or their right to say, hey, you're not doing enough based on what I feel the standard should be. I think that's very controlling and very narcissistic. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not cutting you off. I didn't cut you off. I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. It's because if a person can carry their own water, they can fetch their own water, they can pay their way in their own responsibilities, and they're comfortable right where they are, there's nothing wrong with that person. I think the problem is social media makes so many people compare to chasing and financially trying to gain to the point where they never get to enjoy life. I know some people that say, I would rather enjoy life and have a very minimalistic life opposed to having all the luxuries of life, and now I have way more responsibility. Everyone is not built like
But
that.
that's not what I was talking about. You are getting into another topic, and you're right for what you're talking about. That's not what I was talking about. When I say grow together, I'm not talking about, oh, well, because he makes money and I make money, we good. Or because he this. I'm talking about there are sometimes you get in these relationships, Q, and whether it's the woman or the man, and someone just remains stagnant. The same person you met at point A, they don't have any movement. And let's just say you're with someone and you could bear the bulk of the bills, but you met her and she's right here and she's telling you all the things she wants to do. Now she's not doing absolutely nothing. She ain't, the house ain't really taken care of. She making a little bit of money, but she not doing nothing. And it's just, you don't think that creates a burden and takes a toll on your relationship when someone is just not only coming up on their end, but they're not growing. They're not making any movement. Do you feel like you would like to be in a relationship or a marriage with somebody when you met them 20 years ago, they're still at the same place 20 years ago that they are now? You don't think that's what I mean by growth. It's not so much as financial dependency. It's just where you are.
I think if a person can maintain their life for 20 years, that person is successful. I'm being honest with you. Because I do believe that, again, it's the comparison to other people. For 20 years, to maintain your life, you're an adult. You know what I'm saying? Most people, I get what you're saying, where you're more attracted to people growing and wanting more and to do that. That's what you're attracted to, which is understandable. That's your attraction. So therefore, that's a different scenario. But what I'm saying is, for a person that and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people think they work harder than they actually do. Most people run in circles and they think they run in laps. Most people run in circles. They think they're doing so much. And they run it in place. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, is it all relative to the mentality? If right now, if I'm building my life and a person is cutting my bills in half and holding it down where I could use my other resources to advance my life, that person did me a mean favor. If you think about that logic, look at that, Roel. You have a woman who's cutting your bills in half, and now the half of the money that she's cutting, you are able to use that money to build up your idea better. That person is a great partner. great partner.
But out of financial growth, Q, there's, that emotional growth. And it's not just finances. And that's what I'm straying away from. It's not just that. Some people are in the same space that you've met them, is what I'm trying to say. You're focusing solely on finances. A lot of us out here can take care of ourselves by ourselves.
Give me some other than finance, give me other growth.
I just told you, mentally, emotionally, there are some times where people are in relationships and it's not about finances. Sometimes you talk to them and they're genuinely not happy for a lot.
Number one reason for divorce is finances.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about outside of that. That's not the only thing in relationships that bring marriages down or bring relationships down. There's a lot of other factors.
It's the majority than it is.
Yeah, it plays a big role. That can play a major role, but it's not the only role. I'm saying there are other factors.
This I agree.
There are other factors.
But the one thing I will say is, though, when you dealing with finances is relative to, like, I think it's crushed the black homes where women will go out, have a child with a person, leave the person, and then cry about this person wasn't this and this person wasn't that. When reality is, I could have built my family to put us in the position I wanted us in. I could have just took over the team and scored the bulk of the points. Especially if this person is going to take on the responsibility of hanging with the children more, that gives me the time to go chase. So I think that's a hell of a person when you dealing with somebody like that. Think about that. If I got somebody that says, yo, I'm gonna still pay 40% of the bills, but I'm allow you to continue to build what you wanna build because I'm not gonna get in your way. And not only am I not gonna get in your way, I'm gonna cut your bills down to the point where you can use the resources to advance, and I'm not gonna complain about what you're doing with your money. I ain't gonna lie to you, I think that's an amazing man.
It's more than that. But like I tell everyone, guys, I stand on that when I say your experience is your evidence, and everybody just has to do what works for them. Whatever works for you, to each his own.
I don't know anyone on this live. They become different in life. Yeah. Somebody could have lost somebody in their journey and said, you know what? I realize life ain't about money as much.
Right.
I just care about being around my children and my family more. Then I've seen that happen, where somebody just works there 40 hours a week and their whole goal is to get home to their children and their family to enjoy life. And I don't think that person is a bad person because of the fact that they just hasn't wanted to want to do more. I'm saying, I just think it's wrong for me to try to force and impede. And the first thing about love, biblically, the Bible says love does not impose its own will. The word impose is force. Love doesn't force its own will on somebody. So when you're forcing what you want on somebody, that's not true love. That means that love was a circumstantial love based on circumstances. I loved you as long as you meet my requirements and my standards. And if you can't meet my requirements and standards, I don't love you anymore.
Yeah, well, that sounds crazy. And I think saying that I love you as long as you meet my requirements, I think that sounds crazy. Yeah.
I think a lot of people
crazy.
A lot of people really because I think a lot of people really have this mentality where they expect certain things in their life. And therefore, like I said, I didn't wait for me to get a woman to buy my home. I didn't wait for me to build myself up financially to get a woman. I didn't wait for those things. I built myself up. So therefore, everything I wanted in my life, I can have for myself. And I realized that, again, I'll do the work. The partner in life is someone who wants to do this thing called life with you. We misconstrue business partners in relationships. I think everyone takes a business partner and make it your wife or your girlfriend or your husband has to be a business. That's not true. Right. Sometimes you could have a great marriage and it's better that y'all don't engage in business together. It's just what it is. But again, everyone thinks that me and my partner, they watch so much movies. It's a movie where you're husband and wife and we build this.
I don't think husband and wife should be doing no partnership.
I'm just saying.
I wasn't saying me either. I'm agreeing with you.
But in reality, that most people watch movies where they believe that this is supposed to be this life. Me and my partner is supposed to build a house and we're supposed to do all of these things together. And I'm like, look, you might have had to take the lead. If you want more, then you do more. Now, okay, y'all had a Honda in the driveway. Y'all want a luxury car. So guess what? Now you got to step up. You want more. You the one that wanted. I was comfortable with the Honda. We have a reliable car. It's a good car. Everything is good. You wanted the luxury car. Why should the burden be pushed on me because of what you want? I think that's unfair, man. I'm just being honest. I think from a man's perspective or a woman's lens, I think it's unfair. I think that's so unfair. I think that is very toxic as hell for a person to think like that in dating. I think that's very toxic. I wouldn't want somebody that believes that, like, oh, we have a stable life, we safe, we comfortable, I get to enjoy my children more. Let's say hypothetically you never grew up with your father and your idea is to be the father that was never there. But again, I work my job. I'm doing what I have to do. I handle my responsibilities, but I just care more about the energy and the time I put into my children. And a lot of people don't think like that. And then guess who gets neglected in the situation? The children. A lot of times, look at. I'm sorry to say this. And if you look at a lot of wealthy parents, look how their children are. I'm just saying. Because again, Maria, who was at the house, right? She was the nanny. Your daughter loves Maria more than she loves her mama. She don't know her mother. Okay, your mother was there, but technically, was she really there? So it's all relative. I think a lot of us want the most from life, but sometimes at what cost? And that's what we got to ask ourselves. At what cost? Because I do believe that as you climb the mountain, you realize that the money was never the goal. The goal is peace, happy, and joyness in your home. I think that's the most successful people on earth, when you could be rich but go home and hate your home. Hate your home, hate your living situation. Like, don't like the way you did nothing about your home. Because again, you haven't learned how to appreciate what you have. And when you can't appreciate what you have, you won't have more. You got to appreciate where you are and just continue to grow, and that's it. But just enjoy where you at. I'm saying, what do you feel about that?
Agreed.
What you got, Tyler?
Agreed.
Okay, so I think let's talk about this low IQ culture, because we see this a lot, Q. I feel like you said it before. You feel like society, the IQ has just dropped tremendously. What do you think about that?
I think it's because it's logic. It's emotions over logic. And I think a lot of people, they value their emotions and their feelings more than logic. I listen to some people, we talk, and I'm like, listen, your mentality is what you think opposed to what is logical. For instance, we just sat here a minute ago and said the average American makes what? $50,000 a year. Most people are average people. So most people will find someone average and they can build a better than average life together with. But most people want the better than average, which is a very anomaly and very small percentage of people. Everyone wants those people, right? And they want to build this substantial life. And that's when you have a problem within itself. And a lot of time people spend a lot of energy and time chasing something that was never meant for them. And they didn't even enjoy life. I watched a picture the other day where it showed the man. He was like young. He said, I got to get this money. Then he's like 30. I got to get this money. Then he was 40. Then he said, I got this money. Then he was 100 years old and he had the money and realized that he couldn't enjoy it. So I was like, damn, like it depends at what course. The best course is finding someone that you can partner with who speed up your process. For instance, if the goal is 100,000 and I say, yo, Shay, let's do 50-50. Right? Say it takes me 5 years. Say if it takes me 10 years to do it by myself, because I say that $10,000 a year is 100K, right? So if I say, you know what, I find you put up 50, I put up 50, it'll take us 5 years. I just found a partner, and guess what I did? I cut the time in half. I think that's why other cultures are successful, because they understand that ideology. They'll find 10 people at 10,000, and they'll do it in a year. Black people, either I'm gonna do it by myself. It's just the mentality that's just completely different. It's just weird that we think like that, guy.
But is that, I want to see you win, but not more than me mentality? Do you think that's where that stems from? That I just want to do it all by myself?
I feel like a lot of people do that.
If we do it, is it going to make me feel a way?
In relationships you're talking about?
It stems from the family dynamics where we come from. Most of us come from broken families, so you have to be taught how to be a collective unit, right? Spanish people have a very unit mentality. They compare Spanish people to ants. And I'm not disrespecting Spanish people, just so you understand, it's just an analogy. They're saying that Spanish people will find something, go back to their village, right? Go get 100 of them, come back, pick up that item, and bring it back to their village together. A black person will try to hide it and keep it away from everybody else. It's a mentality that we have, and if we can't identify it as to being true, is why we lose. We have to learn how to follow some same cultures' mentalities, and understand. The other day, a guy said to me, he took it as if I was glorifying foreigners. And I said, no, but foreigners do have a certain ideology that's ingrained in their mentality that a lot of Americans don't have, because they didn't have the same struggle ship that they have. A lot of us glorify our ancestors' success and struggles, and we act like we had to go through the same thing they've been through. For instance, if your dad been to jail, that don't mean you've been to jail. Your dad been to jail. You didn't go to jail. Right? So now you're saying, you're talking like you was in jail when your father was in jail, but your dad was in jail. So that's what I'm saying right now. We're in a time right now that if culturally we work together, we could literally change our economical positioning within a short period of time, because of the fact that we are $2 to $3 trillion earning entity every year. Listen to that statement again, $2 to $3 trillion a year. But here's the catch-22. If we look at that $2 to $3 trillion, I would say damn near most of it is going out onto liabilities opposed to assets. And that's the problem within itself, right? And then on top of it, let's go further in by saying that the money don't stay in our community. It's like turning the AC on and opening the windows and the doors. And then you wonder why nothing get cool. That's the reality. Go ahead.
Yes, I did see somebody said that we have 2 to 3 trillion spending power. We have the most spending power, but we spend it on consumerism. So isn't that worse that you make all that money, but you're not doing anything useful for it to push the community forward?
100%. But that's why, and again, we're going to keep faulting other coaches for the poor decisions we make, right? Like, I don't believe in labels. Anybody who knows me, I know I don't like labels. I don't care about labels. One of my guys asked me a minute ago, are they Adidas track pants? I said, no, they're the same sweatpants that Adidas buys. They just don't have a label on them. And he said, and I'm looking at him, I said, because I don't care about labels. Because, for instance, once they label a sweatpant, for instance, this sweatpants is the same kind of material, same everything, 100% the same thing. But here's the issue. Now by you putting your logo on it, now I'm cattle because I'm branded wearing your brand. Now I'm cattle walking around with your brand, right? And on top of it, all I did was pay an additional markup just because I want to walk around and advertise your brand when I should be walking around advertising myself or someone that's going to get back to my community. But the reality is we don't think like that. We tend to think completely opposite, where it's like, I'm going to support who don't support me and then be mad at the fact that we're not getting anything back in our communities.
Right.
Right? If someone said right now, hey, okay, every shirt that's bought right now, I'm willing to give 30% of the money back into black communities to help build back up their parks, to help build up their programs. If we supported it, you would see a lot of the communities elevating. This is the issue. I used to work at a Jewish synagogue, and I think I told you this. And when I worked at a Jewish synagogue, I used to buy all the supplies in the building. And I promise you, if I bought any piece of supplies, it wasn't from a Jewish company, I would get in trouble. I would get in trouble. I don't care how much money I saved them. They don't care. It has to be purchased from a Jewish company. This is the thing I say. Now you can learn this ideology from these coaches, implement it, and grow from it. You don't believe, if you sat here right now as a black man and don't believe that white coaches and other coaches done stole a lot of our things, you're a fool. But that's what the beautiful thing about having multiple coaches is that we can trade gems and jewels and ideas and beliefs. And that's the beauty about being in America. It's such a melting pot that you can learn some of everything. You can literally wake up tomorrow and say, I want Indian food. You can wake up tomorrow and say, I want Jamaican food. You can wake up tomorrow and say, I want American food. You can wake up, you can have so much diversity in your personal life that is crazy. But again, we don't see it that way. We're gonna be like, oh, he's talking bad about Americans. No. I'm just telling you, get out of your comfort and learn. If it's working for this culture, it can work for you.
But I do feel like you can't tap into that though, Q, without tapping into the fact that, and I don't want to get, yelled at for this, but if you really do the research, black people a lot were held back a long time ago from a lot of things. There are a lot of generational wealth in this country that we didn't have an opportunity to come up off of. They had to sign contracts for certain towns that they were not allowed to sell to black people, that black people couldn't own homes, that they couldn't own businesses. Businesses were being closed and burned down just because they were black. So I'm not saying that having a late start means you can't start, but having a late start sometimes kind of holds you back. And I think up to now, you still have things like staring in real estate where they try to get certain black people to not be in certain communities. They don't want you to buy. They have certain communities where when black people come in, they feel like it depreciates the value of their home. And that isn't always true. So I feel like sometimes you do have some black men. A lot of times you do have that sometimes people won't even give you an opportunity because you're black. You haven't even opened your mouth yet.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Because we them. We are them. They know it. We just don't know it. We're them. I don't care who get mad. It's a reality. Superior genes, superior. We're so dominant that when we mix with other cultures, we're the dominant. It's just what it is. I'll call it what it is. Someone gonna say he's Eric. I don't give a damn. It's the truth. Look it up. This is biology. It's not my opinion. We know it. But the reality is they want you blindfolded. They want our women hating our men. They want our men hating our women. And the sad part is a lot of the women, they only hate the men because of the man that didn't raise them. They don't hate the man. They hate the man that didn't raise them. 70% of our homes is single. So guess what? Men go through it, women go through it. So the reality is they hate the man that wasn't there. They hate him. And then they create these faulty standards. That's not reality. Black families built from nothing because they had nothing and they believed and worked together. Now you have to come with the whole goddamn table for somebody that has nothing. And that's a scarce reality. That's what our culture is. Black families were strong when we unified. I remember I lived in a house with a bunch of my family members. Until everybody can go out and go get their own. But the issue is now, guess what? I ain't living with her. You would rather struggle. Think about this narrative. We say we biologically brother and sister. And let's throw Tyler in this. And let's throw you in this. You paying $3,000 to live somewhere. He's paying 3. 3 plus 3 is what? Now throw another 3 is what? Now throw another 3 is what? You know what a $12,000 house look like? A month? We live in a castle. So we'd rather live in a shack. You'd rather live in a shack because of your ego and your pride. You'd rather live in a shack. You'd rather live in a shack, and I live in a shack because of our ego and our pride. But we can't say, you know what? Damn, my kids get to hang out with their cousins every day. They get to be with their cousins every day. They get to develop, and they learn something called how to share. Spanish culture win because of that mentality. They learn how to share. Your wife cooked this week. Your wife cooked the following week. My wife cooked the following week. Your husband cooked rather the following week. And guess what? All we did was share. And this is why they're so comfortable with each other. They have a different ideology because they don't realize. Like me, I've learned that from them. I brought both of the grandparents together. So while my daughter can have something I never had, I brought it together on purpose. Because I said, I want my daughter to wake up to see. I believe wholeheartedly that children, when they grow with elders, they tend to be 8 times more mature. I promise you. When they got an elder that don't want to be young, grandma don't want to be in the club. Grandma don't want to pop bottles. Grandma don't want to twerk that. You know what I'm saying? Grandma not talking like grandma's like checking her, telling her how to clean herself properly. It's different when wisdom come and speak to you than opposed to someone that's not too far from your age. If your mother's 24 years old and you're 4 years old, that's 20 years difference. But if a 50-year-old woman is talking to that little girl, big difference. Big mama don't play, and I miss big mamas. And the issue is we don't have big mamas no more. Big mama want to be baddie in the spots. Big mama thinks she's still young, and it is what it is. And it's scary when I listen to somebody. I'm like, because girl, I'm waiting for my miss. I'm like, shorty, you 50 years old, mama. You getting closer to Christ. Stop the foolishness. Get out of this foolish mentality. And I'm not dissing women. I can't stand the ideology of what social media has done to people. It's tainted their thoughts. That guy that you thought all them years was bum, he was in the friend zone all these years and could have been your husband. But you so adamant about this person that's not there. They create this invisible guy and to keep wasting your time when you could have been building. You could have been building. I'll tell you the best thing I learned about my woman, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've learned how to accept her for who she is. Because again, God don't give you what you
want.
He gives you what you
need.
And we keep fighting for what we want. And that's the harsh reality in our culture. We constantly fighting for what we want. And that's why you lose. You need what you need. I need somebody that respects me. I need somebody that's going to be here if I get sick tomorrow. I need somebody that's going to hurt me. If I'm hurting and I break my leg, the one thing I need to know is somebody got my back. I will say this comfortably. If you get sick tomorrow, I got you. If you ain't got nowhere to live, you always got someone to live. If you pass away today, my nephew's always got somebody they can come to. And that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee because I have a village mentality. I will open my space and we're going to have to share it. It is what it is. We're going to figure it out. Because it's better that you put somebody under your roof than leave them in the streets. But now we'd rather leave somebody. How you tell your sister you ain't living here? How you tell your brother he ain't coming up in here with me? That is sad. Y'all came out the same vagina and y'all can't work together. Damn, this is sick. And this is our culture. But if you say it, they hate you.
But you think it's just some people you can't live with too, though?
You can't live with them. You can't live with them because you know why? We leave. When you build it,
do it.
What I want to say is like, why we don't create things in our family like let's create a prayer group. We allow the devil to enter our houses, into our families, and we don't try to cast them out by working together to get rid of them. It's a mentality, right? So guess what? Let's start a prayer group. Yo, you know what this week? How was your week this week, guys? Let's say you have a group. Everybody in your family, put them in a group. Y'all text each other. The reason why the heart grows so far apart is because it's not close. You got to keep the heart close. Me and you close because we around each other every day. We talk all the time. So we're getting closer and closer and closer. If y'all not fellowshipping, y'all not building anything. That's the reality. You create a group, everyone talks. How was your week? Now, you know what? That cousin that didn't speak, they might throw something. I had a rough week this week. Guys, let's pray for her right now. And then you can start a pot. Hey guys, every week we also put in 20. I start with a small number. You starting to teach teamwork. Start with a small number. Everybody put in $20 a week, $10 a week. And that's how you start building this mentality.
Yeah, but we have that in our culture, Q, Caribbean people. Like, I feel like it's a little different for us. We have that where, you know, everybody know about the Spanish people, the susu, Jamaicans, the partner money, where you put in your money and every week someone gets something out of it. I saw this guy on Instagram too. I think he's Haitian, and he said in his culture, they do something like that. They dip in a pot and it's for everybody to kind of do what they're trying to do. This one had this debt to pay off to fix his credit. So this month we giving it to Q. Next month we giving it to Tyler. Next month. So I feel like you do have a lot of black cultures that want to see each other win. I don't think it's just black culture as a whole that don't want to see each other win. I think you have a lot of black cultures that want to see each other win.
But the scary thing about that is, though, Shay, and the only thing I will say that's real on that situation is, a lot of us come from broken families. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And the sad part is we go out there and we date more broken. And we create more broken kids. And you see it all the time. We complain about the men and the women. We saw what we don't like, and then we go date exactly the same broken, and then we create the next generation to be broken. And we don't think we play a major part in the problem. That's the issue. The issue is us. Wholeheartedly, it's us. Because the one thing I refuse is to continue to create something that didn't have structure, foundation, that she could look both ways and see her mother and look the other way and see her father. I didn't want that. So I said, you know what? I have to break certain aspects of myself. I didn't grow up with a mother and father. So there was a time where I didn't believe in marriage. I didn't believe in it. Because why? Because at the end of the day, I didn't see it.
Right.
So for me, it's easy to break up something that you didn't see because you didn't even believe to be together anyway. It wasn't meant in your eyes. So reality is easy to break up something. But the reality is a healthy person is one who makes sacrifices. And I see today's society, if it don't align with what people want, they ain't appreciating, they don't want nothing to do with it. It's all about what people want. And that's what you see. More people could become so selfish. So selfish. If you look at the Instagram is called instant gratification. Instagram is called instant gratification. People want instant gratification all the time. They don't have that mentality. And that's why I tell people on this podcast, we're creating a movement of a different mentality, trying to show people a different outlook on maybe their thoughts. Maybe you're thinking wrong. And we're not trying to challenge you in a disrespectful manner, but we're trying to show you a different outlook, whether male or female. And the healthy will take on the mentality. The sick will fight the sickness, not realizing that they're not getting any better. They're just living in their sickness. And that's the problem. The sickness is us. Because there is no sickness can't survive without a host. No sickness can't survive without a host. So every sickness, every disease, it needs a host. Every plague, it needs a host. It stops when everyone passes away. So if we don't break it, that means guess what? We're the host that's continuously carrying on this sick mentality. So the issue is really us. And it gets worse. 100%. And this is what we got to say. We're going to take some call-ins real fast before we get out of here today. Shay loves this part, so we're going to start doing this more.
Do I?
Yeah.
I love the
No, you say no. You like.
I like to read the comments. I like to get everybody involved.
Just bring the headphones real quick, guys, so we can hear. Now, Shay, she's right. And we're going to start involving you guys more.
I do like
at the end of it. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
People.
We're going to try to keep just so.
I feel like people come on here for a long time to watch the podcast. A lot of people are on here for hour and a half, 2 hours. So I like to, engage with the audience.
Plug it in real quick.
Oh, yeah, Q. Tell them about the live next Sunday.
So, guys, next Sunday, we're having a live episode. You guys are going to enjoy it. We're going to be at a big event. We got a bunch of people coming, and we're going to do a live podcast. And they're going to be asking questions live, asking us things live. And again, I just want y'all to understand this. Me and Shay don't do this to hurt and ruffle nobody's feathers, but we definitely tell our truth. And a lot of people, some respect it, some don't. But again, it's all relative. I'm not going to make everybody happy, Shay, nor you. But at the end of the day, we have to live in our truth. So we're gonna like some phone call-ins right now. 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. Yes, the podcast on YouTube is called Empowered Dynasty. EMPOWERD Dynasty. Empowered Dynasty is the YouTube channel. Empowered Dynasty on YouTube. Right? Someone can call in right now. 516-253-1150. 516-253-1150. We're taking call-ins right now. It's 500 people in here. Somebody can call in right now. Don't be shy. We don't bite.
So we have to get back to loving our blackness.
100%. And the issue is we at war with each other. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I look at you every day and tell you I'm not at war with my sister, but I'm gonna tell my truth. And I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but in reality, that's why you're the way you are, because no one hurt your feelings. That little boy that was in a class and they got teased being fat, now he's fit. That little broke person that they say is broke, now they rich. People got to get back to that part of telling people the truth. Now they say you body shaming. Now they say no, it's not body shaming, it's truth telling.
Yeah, there's a way to be truthful though and don't hurt. You could be truthful, but
I
you
think
ain't
any
gotta go
way you
around
say
just
it these
hurting.
days, Shay. Any way you say it these days.
Hurting people.
You sit with me all the time,
Yeah, I'm
Shay.
gonna go up to somebody's family. Like,
No,
yo, you
but
fat.
Shay,
You know, it's
you
a
sit
way
with me
to-
all the time. I say things in the nicest manner. People take it the way they take it. So you say things in a nice manner. People take it the way they take it. So it does. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. I'm saying. Caller, what's going on, caller?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, bro, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
So my question is, I just came up on your channel first and foremost.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. So you're speaking some real fire.
Appreciate
Now, my
it.
question is, here's a good question. Based off the first signs of attraction, who likes black men more? White women or any other race of women or black women? And what I mean by first signs of attraction is, giving the look.
I think black women.
I think other coaches.
Really?
I think other coaches
I
like
think
black
we
men
love
more.
our black men.
What do you think?
Oh, yes, sir.
What do you think?
I've been asking this question, and out of 32 people, 7 have said that actually black women like.
Yeah.
So it's a majority of, we all know that other races are taught. Now, this is what I've come to the conclusion is that all races are pretty much taught to love their man, but us and our people, we go against,
Yes.
our sisters have been taught not to like us. We're
Yep.
not,
Yep.
they won't even compete for us. Cause that would be my next question is, do you think black women, I asked a black woman, do you think she should compete for her man? That'd be another good question.
You know me answer that real fast?
It's terrible out here.
You know why I think, honestly, being fair, and I'm going to say this, somebody going to get offended. Reality, a man is supposed to go provide, protect, keep security, make sure he's the breadwinner, and make sure that he's doing all these things, right? So when I ask all of these things, I always ask a woman, what does she get in return? She says loyalty. That means a man is the prize. They've been trained to believe that they're the prize when a man is the prize. When a father walks down the aisle, listen to me, I have 2 daughters. When I walk down the aisle and I hand a man my daughter, I'm giving over my responsibilities of my daughter to him. So therefore, he's the prize. She got the prize, the man that's willing to sacrifice DIE for him and everything else in between for this girl. So therefore, he's the prize. And I'm going to raise my daughters to understand that. I'm not going to raise my daughter. No, I'm not saying a woman's not the prize, but the reality is, Shay, when a woman finds a man that does all of these things and meet all these requirements, she found her prize. And I think that's what my grandmother knew. I think that's what the older generation knew.
But also, when you got on your knees and asked that woman to be your partner forever, you also found your prize. So we found prize in each other.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Shay. Let's just
My
talk
opinion.
logical. I'm just saying in most cases, the requirements of a man and the requirements of a woman are nowhere near the same. And if a lot of women had to meet the same requirements of men, a lot of women will fall short under the limbo because a lot of women will not meet the requirements if they had to meet the same requirements of a man. They just won't. I'm being fair and honest.
Okay, but we meet our own requirements because we're 2 different people. We're not fighting to be you and you're not fighting to be us. Women play their role and men play their role.
Listen.
So I'm not going to sit here and just say a man is yeah, he is my prize and so I am his also.
I'm going to make sure I teach my daughters that when you find that great man, he is the prize. I'm not saying that you're not worth and you don't have value. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for a man that's willing to give his life for you, because that's your expectation. Your expectation is if a noise happens, you expect him to be willing to crash out for you. So the reality is that's the prize. To meet an absolute stranger who's willing to die for you. What are we talking about here?
And a woman who's able to sacrifice her life by bringing in life for you guys is the prize as well.
But you still control it though, Shay.
Is the prize as well.
You still get to control that though. You still can control the child though, Shay. And the courts will back you and let you control the child.
Okay.
I'm just being fair. That you control that child. But a man that's willing to crash out and pass for you, that's a prize right there. I'm sorry. I have 2 beautiful daughters. No, I'm teaching my beautiful daughters to understand that. Like, girl, these guys love you. And you should appreciate that. I'm not going to teach her from these single, miserable women who's telling them they'd rather be alone. A lot of women aren't single by choice. They're single by their options. They're not single by choice. They be lying to themselves. But I'm not teaching my daughters to think like that. It's wrong. It's delusion. It's foolish. My guy, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Good.
Oh, okay.
That was
Only
good.
one more question?
Yeah, go one more. You had two good ones.
Okay, we can stop it. Okay. So tell me, why do women, knowing that if their value is their body, and I think, see, I grew up with all brothers, so I just learning the women and how they really learn and how they move.
Yes.
So my question is now, if women know that if they go off and give their body to multiple men, that, you know, it's not a good thing. They got to feel some type of way being entered, the DLTG, right?
Yes.
Why do they feel that it doesn't mean anything, especially when they looking to get a husband? Like, don't they think their husband will wonder what they are, you know, like their past history? Like, I don't get it.
I asked my co-host. She's a woman. She don't want to answer it.
Let's talk about it. Why is it when you know that when you're doing it, you losing value, but you keep doing it with multiple dudes? And
I think
I
personally,
guess the part two would be
the feminist movement is teaching them to be liberated, and sexual liberation is the reason why I think that a lot of women don't see their value as being tarnished as they sleep with multiple men. I think that they're teaching them so wrong, but again, it's my mentality. But if you say it, it's a problem. But I do believe that this whole feminist movement is actually hurting women more than actually building them. It's teaching them to think horribly wrong. And I'm just like, damn, you think that's liberation? Wow.
You see,
so
someone
why do
asked
they,
that,
when
and
they
men,
get with a man, that if they break up, they go and get with another man. But if all men cheat, so why not just deal with one man instead of knowing that if most men are going to cheat?
I'm asking
Quit resetting the clock. You know what I'm
why
saying?
not just build with one man?
What do you think? I'm gonna let her answer it, because if I say, look, 1 minute ago, I read the chat. Somebody said I was gay because of the fact that I told them that a man is the
you know what it is. What it
is.
is, I guess. And someone on here, this got bummed too, whatever his name is, with his comments. Like, I see you. I'm gonna get to you in a second. I feel like when we have our opinions as women, or when we think how we think, then you guys bash us for it. Do I think a woman should go out there and let every man enter her body? No. But why is it that you guys are looked at as kings and so valuable when you're doing the same thing? Shouldn't we vet you guys the same way you vet us? The same way you vet a woman for letting too many men enter her, for having too many baby daddies. Shouldn't we vet our men the same way and say, well, listen, I don't want you because you sleep around a lot and you have multiple baby mamas. What's the difference?
You know what? You know what, though? I'm going to tell you why.
What's the difference?
Because when a woman sleeps around, she's a slut. When a man sleeps around, he's a slut maker. He's making sluts.
So that makes it right. So
I never said to make it right.
We just want to say that's okay, and that's what it is.
That's what you got out of it. That's what you got out of it. But that's not what I try to say. What I'm saying is you create women to be considerably whores by sleeping with them. And a woman will still date you if you tell her you had 100 bodies as a man. A man is not going to see you as valuable if you tell him you have 100 partners.
Well, we just need to vet our men the way they vet us.
Then
if they
it.
look at us the same, then we need to look at y'all the same. Because guess what? If she letting these men enter her, then...
Shay, let me ask you a question. And I want you to be very honest. And I want you to listen to this. When have you ever met a woman that said, I want me a damn virgin? When you ever heard a woman say, I want me a virgin?
You're right. I've
I
never
want
heard a
a
woman say
virgin.
that.
Give me a virgin.
I've never heard anybody say that.
You want a man that is experienced because you want to be pleasured extremely.
Mm-hmm.
Men would rather learn to get what the woman want him to learn from him.
Intelligent investor, I'm not saying it's an equal equation. I'm not saying that we're equal, but I'm saying some of the same expectations you guys put on us, we're looking at you men the same way too now, and saying you're looking for us to be so pure, but we should accept you guys flawed. You're looking for us to be your peace while you're giving us chaos. I'm just saying it's not, it really isn't fair.
So can I say that, like what he just said, women are being ravished. You want to be ravished. So if you're having multiple partners as a man, when we look at you, we're not going to call that valuable, because we're probably going to wonder how many dudes has ravished you.
Yes.
And that's not something that you want to marry forever. Like you being beat down.
Yes.
Like, well, we ain't going to go ahead.
Understood. But if I'm looking at you and you have multiple baby mamas, I'm looking at you like you don't know how to create stability in a home. And you're not someone that I want as a husband either. Because why is it that you have 5 baby mothers, 5 kids, and you didn't decide to get married to none of them? None of these women were good enough for you? I'm looking at you the same way too. We just vet each other differently.
But you want to hear something funny? She's still going to sleep with him.
Not everyone.
Look, there's a video. There's a video. If you go look at, I think it was 2 episodes ago. The guy showed me the other day. 2 episodes ago on Pop the Balloon, he had 7 baby mothers. Was honest about his show, and the baddest chick on that show bagged him. The baddest chick on the show.
But y'all will still sleep with hoes too. What's the difference?
No, you said sleep with. sleep with.
Some of y'all wifed them up too. T, you said you wifed up a whole hoe one time. Speak on it. Did you not?
He was 7.
Did you? He was 7.
Honestly, I did it.
Seven,
I
you don't
feel
know
like
no
a
better.
lot of dudes who
He
have
was
experience,
7.
you ran into a hoe before. It is
It
what
happens.
it is.
It happens.
So dudes don't never wife up hoes.
No, some guys will.
One time, but then you learn. But every man who has experience with women, they ran into a hoe before, respectfully.
They have. I'm being fair. They have.
Why you drop the mic like that? I agree with you.
Because he made a point. Dropped a bomb on that
yeah,
thing.
you dropped the
got
mic. I
one
should
more.
see how you dropped the mic.
Let me get somebody else. Yo, I appreciate it. Keep calling every week. I like you. But I don't want to. I want
All
somebody.
right, we'll talk about
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
I got my Hawk.
Hawk, I appreciate it.
Bye, Hawk.
We definitely gonna be looking for his comments. Hawk is a good bro. I like
y'all
you.
take it easy.
All right, my
Thanks,
guy, I appreciate you. Somebody else could call in. I don't want to. I want to give y'all a shot too. He was amazing. Give it up for Hawk, guys.
Yeah, he was that.
It was actually good. Valid points. Very valid. And articulates itself very well in his comments. But like one thing I say is like these kind of conversations trigger people, and the issue is if you raise your daughters believing that society is equal with men and women, you're delusional. Because I can't raise my son thinking that society is equal with men. The responsibilities of a man ain't equal with a woman, so I can't raise my son in that delusion. I don't understand how people call themselves adults and they live in such delusion that they're gonna make their children believe that this is normal. It's not. I'm gonna always raise my son to say, hey, buddy, you have to do way more than your woman. But if you don't think like that, then who's the problem? The problem is the person that can't live in reality. Right? But again, what am I saying? But somebody call in right now, 516-253-1150. We're gonna take one more call before we get out of here. 516-253-1150.
What did he expose, Mackin?
I don't know.
He said he just exposed. What did he expose? Can you write it in the chat or call in and tell us? 516-253-1150. I mean, I like when you guys talk on there, but I like when you call in and say what you got to say.
Let them know, Shay. Let them know, Shay. It's the opposite way. Go ahead, caller. What's going on?
Is it?
Yeah. Nah, it don't matter. What's up, caller?
Call in.
Yo, shalom. My name is Rush. Tapping in.
Say it again. Say the name again.
My name is Rush.
What's going on, bro?
Man, not much. I'm just tapping in. I'm hearing the conversation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts on single mothers. You know what I mean? Within that demographic,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes like a polarized thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't compare that situation with the males because your average male is an actual virgin.
Yes.
So a lot of times, a lot of these women, there's a large group of women sleeping with a small portion of men within our demographic. You know what I'm saying? So, like it became a normalized thing within, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Within the community or whatever. And it's just like, you can't even compare, the male and female within that, that same structure about having single kids and all that. I mean,
It's over glorified, right? And but it's also incentivized when if you break up, you can go to the courts and receive benefits. And I watched the video the other day. You know what the woman said? She said, I don't need a man for nothing. She was going off about how she don't need a man for nothing. And then the guy said, wait, aren't you receiving alimony from your husband? And I'm like, yo, this is the people you
Wait,
get.
what? Say that again.
She was talking about how she don't need a man for nothing, and she good by herself. All of these things, and then the guy was like, it's her colleague. He was like, wait, aren't you on? Didn't you get an alimony from your husband? And then she got stuck. She said, wait, but I have 3 kids, and he was like, so stop talking about you don't need a man for nothing. It just sounds weird. But Cole, I appreciate you.
Yeah, and
Oh no, he did.
Yo, let me just say this
Go ahead.
before you cut me off.
No, you good.
Yo, within within our social construct and the family court system, the woman is always gonna have the leverage. Like whether if you wife her up or have kids with her, because that's how the court system is designed to give her that kind of leverage.
100%.
And it's just like, yeah, man, these women, they're getting child support, alimony, and they're getting all these different incomes to get ahead of the game. You know You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, a lot of these women, they proclaim to be independent, but they're really not independent. They're getting all kinds of benefits to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay above the water. And then they got the nerve to look at the man like,
Yeah, it's cool.
he worthless. It's like, you got the cheat code already, man. You bugging.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
No, I
That's
agree
all
with you.
I gotta say,
I
man.
appreciate you, bros.
Touch, man. I'm just tapping in.
I appreciate you. Thank you, my guy. Took it. Caller, what's going on, caller?
Yes.
What's going on?
Hi, my name is Linda.
How you doing, Miss
and-
Linda?
Oh, fine. Am I on air now?
Yes, we listening to you. We hear everything you're saying.
Okay. I'm with the female speaker because a lot of men think, like you yourself think, that men are the prize. I think the women are the prize because you give us a house, we make a home. You give us groceries, we make a meal. Okay? Now, you also said that, let me see. Well, it's more men seeking women than women seeking men. There are a lot of lonely men out there. So if they are the prize, why are they lonely?
Let me ask you a question. Right? If you had to say 5 things, right, real fast, to describe what a good man is, what would you say? Give me 5 things that make a good man a good man.
That accept his responsibility.
Okay, responsibility. That's one.
That treat his woman with respect.
Okay, treats his woman with respect. That's 2. Okay.
Don't mess around.
That don't cheat. I'm gonna throw one in there. God-fearing. I'm gonna throw God-fearing in there.
Yes, okay, God-fearing. One more. That knows how to lead the family.
Okay, so now let me ask you these questions. Based on this, what you just said, a good man is. If I don't see that as extremely valuable, I don't know what we taught. Because you want to be led. You said being led, right? Fearing God, right? Responsible, right? Don't cheat. Like, oh my God. Like that's to teach a woman to understand the reason why your woman is submitting is because she's submitting to someone who's going to take care of her, protect her, provide for her. That is you handing her off as a responsibility to another man. If you ask a man right now, in most cases, the men spend the most money in being in relationships. Men save anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 being single. They spend $15,000 to $10,000 on average being in a relationship. So a relationship costs money to be with. So reality is, a man is that he's the value because you know he's gonna make your life easier if he's a good man. He makes your life so much easier, so much. That's why the man is the value. And even you said, okay, the woman makes the house a home, but the reality is the man has to keep it stable so you can call it a home.
But most men don't do that. So you're saying
No, I think it's the men
that
y'all are
like
intimate
that.
with.
Most men don't do that.
No, I think it's the men y'all choose that aren't like
They
that.
do not do that.
No, it's the men y'all choose that aren't like that. And that's the reality.
The pictures are slim.
It's slim. It's slim. It's
Most
slim.
men do not do that.
No, what I'll say is it's slim because
Most men go to a woman and stay in her house, use her resources.
agreed, because those women are attracted to those type of guys because of the energy they put off. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times when you talk to a lot of women that are like that, they always lead with what they have. And when you keep leading what you have, you take on a role of provision. So for instance, I keep saying, I have my own house, I got my own car, I don't need a man for nothing. Yeah, you're going to find a man that needs you.
So, but if a man is a provider and all the qualities that Miss Linda described, then why is it that you would move into a woman's house? If you're ready for
That's
that,
not
why
a
don't
man.
you say,
That's a male.
you know what, let's build something together? Why would you want
That's
to
a
move
male.
into her house
Because
then?
a man wouldn't do that. And if he does, he's moving in with a goal. But those guys that they're getting is men that are needy. The same way when a man puts out that he plans on being a provider. If a woman keeps pushing out what she has, she better be planning on being a provider. Because the man that she's gonna get is a man that needs her.
Right.
She's leading with what she has
But-
also.
Jody, why you say you would
But
never
if
move
she
into a
has
woman's
her
house again?
But if she has her own car and her own house, that's just being an adult. That's not the woman waiting on the man to get it for us, because if we wait on a man to get it for us, then we will be waiting for eternity.
Agreed. But sometimes, I'm not going to lie, Miss Linda, and I'm being fair and respectful, I do believe that a lot of the times in today's society, a lot of women believe that they deserve way more than what they can get. And it's hard to tell a woman that because they get offended and they feel like you're attacking them or you're disrespecting them. I'm like, to be 30, to be 40, to be 50 and not find this person that you believe that exists, that means maybe you might have just been a little delusional, just a little. Because if I keep saying that I want this particular woman and she's never came on to me, I've never seen her, she's never tried to talk to me, maybe I'm a little delusional. That's like saying I want to be a doctor and I ain't go to school to become a doctor.
But what about the women? Because a lot of men like younger women because they are less experienced. How about the young woman that get dogged out just as much?
But you know what they don't tell? Y'all don't tell the young girls?
She's everything that a man wants.
But y'all don't tell those young girls, Miss Linda, that when you're
she
young,
don't have a high body count. She's beautiful.
that's what you need to tell those young girls. That's when you're supposed to find your husband. You're supposed to be finding your husband when you're younger. You're not supposed to be finding your husband when you're older. The reality is you're supposed to be settled in, kicked up driving. And it's wild because when a man starts experiencing more, let's say after college, he starts seeing a broad spectrum of women. So when he starts seeing so many women, you're less attractive because when he was in high school, you was fire. But now that he's seen so many different women, you're not as cute. Every man will tell you that the girls that thought was cute, after they got out of high school, they realized they weren't that attractive. It was just the limit spectrum of what you've seen. You only seen a limit horizon. Your limited horizon only showed you what you've seen. So therefore, when you graduated and you started seeing the world, you was like, oh my God, these girls are not that attractive.
I have another question too.
Okay.
Why is it that men, they want younger women, but they 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 years old? You don't think that a younger woman wants a younger man? They don't want an old man.
I think that's
and these men are delusional that just because she's young and they're old, that the woman wants them.
Can I say this to you?
And a lot of people are saying, well, I can give her things that a young man can't, like money, security, and this and that.
Yeah.
How much money are we talking?
But can I say something to you? In most cases,
taking her out to eat every now and then, giving her $20.
But you know that though? In most cases,
nothing. Can you pay for my mortgage? Can you pay for my car payment, my insurance? Most men can't do that.
I think it's the most men that the person can't get. They can't do that. Because it's all relative. Some people dating pool is very deep and some people dating pool is very shallow. I think a person needs to know what their dating pool is and being honest with themselves. I think a lot of people don't do that. There are people right now that can get people that will help them with their mortgage. And there are people that can't get a person that can help them with their mortgage. Because it's all relative. They can find somebody that will help them pay their mortgage, but they can't find somebody that's going to pay their whole mortgage. It depends on the person.
Right.
But it's that's why I say, when you paint with one brush, every color looks the same. But the people need to stop thinking they can paint with every single the same color, because everyone is not the same person.
Miss Linda, can I ask you a question? Are you married or are you single?
I am single by choice.
Have you ever been married?
Yes, one time, and I don't even want a man now.
Why don't you want a man?
Miss Linda, I'm gonna say this.
Finish. Why don't you want? Can I ask Miss Linda a question? Why don't you want a man? Have you met any men out there, or are you looking to date? Are you not looking to date?
No, I'm not looking to date. It's just that, I just don't have faith in a man that they would do what they're supposed to do. It's all, it's just, okay, a man doesn't love a woman like a woman loves a man. Mm-hmm. And yes, he might be a good man. He might be financially stable, taking care of bills and this and that, but he cheats. A lot of men, they call themselves a good man if they're taking care of the responsibilities, but they don't want to talk about the fact that they cheat, okay? And then a lot of men are like, well, everybody cheats, and, like the other caller, everybody cheats, and a woman is different if she cheats and she's ran through and stuff like that, okay? As women, I don't want a disease either.
I agree. I agree with you.
You know, I mean, when you cheat, that's putting my life in danger.
I
And it's
agree.
no like, you know, like it's no big deal. Yes, it is a big deal to me. You know, I'm trying to be safe over here.
I respect that. And you have a right. And I'm being honest with you and being fair to you. You have a right to, if we're going to be, and we're going to call this a unit, then you should respect me too. I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree with that, Safety.
I'm not gonna lie though, Miss Linda. You sound very upset at men, and I feel like when you say single by choice, I feel like everybody wants somebody. So I feel like you do want somebody. You want somebody. I feel like everybody wants
Well,
somebody.
you know what? You know what?
Come on, Miss Linda.
I kind of do, but reality sets
You
in.
do. Come on, girl.
And
Shay told the
wait
truth.
a minute. Wait a minute. And then reality sets in, and then I know that it's no use. Because, you know.
But there are some
I
good
hate
men
to
out
say
there, Miss
this,
Linda. I
but-
don't know where you're looking. I don't know where you're from. I don't know your age. I don't know
But
what you want to
what?
disclose.
What is
But
a good man? What is a good man? Because
don't know what is-
a lot of women.
what are your requirements of a man? A
lot
good
of
man
women
for me.
Don't know,
But
you
wait
know
a
what?
second. Wait a
lot of
second.
women
I got.
don't know what a good man is.
But Miss Linda,
Agreed.
what I'm saying is a good man for me, my qualifications and my requirements or my standards of what a man is may not be yours. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You sound like an older woman. I don't know if you have kids. I don't know. You said you were married a long time ago. I don't know what you're looking for at your age. We may be looking for two different things. But you said you were single by choice. And then I said, everybody wants somebody. You said, I kind of do. So I'm trying to figure out, why don't you have
I'm not
somebody?
trying to do,
Is
but
it the
reality
man
sets
or is
in,
it
and then I
you?
realized, you know, that it's not going to work.
I
Because,
get what she's saying.
You know.
You know what Miss Linda's saying? She's saying, if I don't find nobody, I have to accept that as okay. But if I do find somebody, I'm open to it. That's what you're
Right.
saying, Miss Linda, right?
Right.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. What kind of
but
man
hold on,
is Miss Linda
tell her
looking
this though.
for?
Don't never say that again though, Miss Linda. Don't never say I'm single by
I
choice.
don't want. Yeah.
Don't say that.
See,
that's
saying
a
that you
defense mechanism.
that kind of you
Well,
was we
like,
knew
I
everybody
really
wants
am single
somebody.
by choice. So, like, I am single by choice. Because,
No, you're single by options.
You know, it's just certain things
You're
that
single by
I
your
won't
options.
put up with.
No, so you're single by your options.
Right. It's just certain things I
Okay.
won't put up with. I mean, there are men that are approaching me,
Yeah.
but I know now that I don't want that type of man.
You know that-
And
I think you
it's
should just get a
like,
companion.
I have heard a
Have
lot
fun.
of women say that he's a good man. He's a good man. Never mind if he cheats. Never mind if he
Yeah.
beats you up.
Yeah.
Never mind if he abused kids. And
Yeah.
I have heard women say, but he's a good man. So it's like, what is a good man? A lot of women don't know what a good man is.
So
Yeah,
at right now, at this point in your life, Miss Linda, what are you looking for now? If I was supposed to say, first of all, let me go down the list. What's the age that you're looking for? If you were to be dating, what's the age of the man? Give me an age. Just shoot me an age.
Well, I don't want to say.
I mean, you got to have an age. Is there an age of a guy
And,
that
and the
you?
reason why I don't want to say, because it's like, if a good man comes along, and the good man comes along, and I really do see that he's a good man, he has everything, you know, all my boxes checked off. I don't want to put myself in, in a box saying, no, but he got to be this old, he got to be this, that, this. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter the age. Anywhere from 18 and up, you good.
No, an 18 sound crazy.
I mean, you got to figure out an age though. Miss Linda
Yeah,
got
18 do sound
what are we,
crazy.
30 and up, 35, 40? Just give me a starting point of what you
35 and up.
okay.
35.
Okay.
Okay. 35 and up. Is there a specific any kind of physical that he needs, or you don't care about that?
As long as he's not in a wheelchair or a walker. I mean,
Okay.
I want someone to match my energy.
Okay. And what is
You know, I mean, I don't want him to have a lot of kids around, because a lot of men are saying, well, we don't want a woman that have a lot of kids. Okay, a man that has a lot of kids, that's a problem too.
Yeah.
I don't want a man that has a lot of kids. I don't know why a lot of men think that what applies to a woman don't apply to them. I don't want a man with a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I don't want a man that has been with a lot of different women.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Linda. Well, I'm gonna keep my
I
eye
mean,
out
I
there.
got standards too.
100%. You should though. Why
I'm gonna
not?
keep my eyes out there for somebody for you, 35 and older, and check all your boxes. You already said the
Where's she
boxes.
at? What state she at?
first? Where do you live? What state do you live in? You live outside of New York?
I live in Texas.
Oh, you live in
Texas.
Texas. Everything's
Okay.
bigger in Texas, Miss Linda. You better get out there, girl. Yeah.
No, you know what? Because I am here at my house, and I feel at peace. I have
Okay.
always had a man in my life, and this is one time in my life that I don't have a man by choice. I'm keeping men away. I feel so happy and so peaceful. I lay down in my bed. I mean, sometimes I just start laughing for no reason at all.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, this is peace. I mean, so I look at the fact that when I was with a guy and I'm trying to do everything to make it work, and clearly they don't want to make it work.
Yeah.
So it's like now all of this energy and love and caring that I had for somebody else, I'm putting it into myself now.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, Miss Linda, we're going to
appreciate
keep
you.
our eye out
Definitely.
for you. You know what? Thank you so much
Guys,
for
give it up for
calling
Miss Linda.
in. We appreciate
Give it
you.
up for Miss Linda. Now, but you see the dating world right now, and it's hard for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being
hard
fair.
out there.
It's not easy. But a lot of times, look, the one thing I will say is as I get older, I would just look for more so a companion so I can grow old and enjoy life with and not put so much requirements on somebody at an older age. I just want to enjoy life. I want somebody I can go travel with. I want somebody I can go spend time with and take walks in the park with and just be able to talk and laugh and joke with. I wouldn't really be caring that much about a bucket list at my older years.
Do you think that when some women say single by choice,
They cap it.
it's an excuse? You
It's a
think
cap.
but do you think there are some women that really don't want a
know how you
relationship?
know
They're
it's
not
not?
looking to be in a
You
relationship
know how you know
and they
it's
are single by
disingenuine, though?
choice.
If the guy that she has in her head comes along,
She won't be single.
so that means you're not single by choice. You're single by your options. The options that you can get, you don't like.
right.
But again, that's why I told you their dating pool is their dating pool. You shouldn't be in a 12-foot pool when you know you can barely swim in a 3-foot pool.
Right.
But you got some people that go jump in the 12-foot pool and then crab out, lifeguard, save me. I'm like, you shouldn't be down there. You got to know where you are in the dating pool.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is. Some people, they're not honest with themselves. They lie to themselves. And you got to admit, Shay, you know some women who are not that attractive who think they're 12s. And you can't say nothing to them. And they think they're baddies. They think they're full-fledged baddies. And I'm like, yo, something wrong with you. I know dudes who don't got money who think they rich.
But I feel like if we can you sound effect. I feel like if we focus less on the physical, then everybody will just be happier. I think there's a lot of people out there
Can I
that
make
are
a
showing
challenge?
up with their representative.
Can I make a challenge?
What's the challenge?
Man, we do it already. But be honest with your mans. Can I ask y'all ladies something?
What?
Can y'all stop lying to ladies and start telling y'all ladies the truth? Tell your friend that, girl, you shouldn't be wearing that. Tell your girlfriend, girl, you're not that attractive. Maybe you should give that man a chance that's trying to holler at you. There was a video that went viral where the girl said she was very heavy and she said she wanted a man muscle built and very fit. And it was,
And the guy threw the scale out and said, "Get on the scale." That was funny.
but if you look like Shay.
That was funny.
But again, her friends were like, get up, girl. You right, lying to her. Like, and then as soon as she walk away, you know what they do? They come to us and be like, I can't believe she wore that. She is diabolical. Can I get a diabolical towel?
See, Miss Gibson said it right.
That is diabolical.
When you're honest, they think you hate. It's different with men
That mean you
and
shouldn't be
men
their
and
friend.
women and women. Like women will think you. So you say something to your
They
homegirl
gonna
or
get
your
tired of
friend,
being
she
alone.
gonna really be thinking that you hating on her.
But you got to realize right
They
now,
gonna think you hating
today,
on her.
shit, we in a girl club where they lie to each other, and it's disgusting, and they really lie to each other. And the sad part is, it's like they tell a man everything. All my men on the live right now,
that
can I get
evil?
a thumbs up emoji or a hand up emoji? If you got a woman that tells you everything about her friends that she won't tell her friends, I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be the first one. Look, They do it all the time.
The women are asking you, what's a baddie? What's considered a baddie?
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If you could take a woman, let's say South Beach, right? Let's take her to South Beach. She walked down that strip, and she shuts that strip down. She's a baddie. Y'all
So
know
a baddie is just it's a physical. That's it. That's a baddie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baddie's
That's the
attractive.
question.
But they know they not baddies. If you need makeup, wigs, all of these things to look like a baddie, then you ain't no baddie. You got a girl that could jump in the pool and come out the pool and be heat, Halle Berry in her prime. Baddie. Baddie. Like, come on. We just gonna call it what it is. But some people get offended. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. A baddie is someone that don't need all of these aesthetics to look cute. She knows she cute. She wake up cute. That's heat. Pressure. Just call it what it is. I'm saying, but a lot of people get offended. Oh, you talking crazy. Oh my God, he has something bad to say. Like, come on, fam, grow up. All I'm saying is some grown people, y'all need to get mature with yourselves and start realizing maybe you're in the wrong dating pool or maybe you're in a pool of people that aren't looking at you. Because I'm gonna tell you something, I've seen women, right? They call it a stool pigeon. When they go to ugly spots and they hang out with ugly women because it makes them look better. I've seen it. And secondly, I've seen it with my own two eyes. And then those girls, you put them in spaces where they're not that attractive, they tuck their whole tail and they know they're not that attractive. They know it. They know they're not that attractive. I'm being honest, I've seen ugly girls hate on the beautiful friend. Hate. Hate. And I'm like, cause you know she's beautiful. Look, you ever see the videos when the guy walk up to the girl and try to talk to the girl, and the little chubby one always got something to say? That's like a run-on joke. The little fat one always got something to say. Like, she's snaking, keep it moving. Like, no one's talking to you. But she's mad that she's not getting the attention. Better be careful with that one. They get mad. Call them out, sisters. I'm making it. Call them out. Call them out. Stop letting them live like that.
Somebody said baddie equals bad attitude and bad
A
credit.
lot of times. They ain't lying.
Hey, Rico.
We're going to wrap
What you
this
want
up.
to say?
We're going to wrap it up, all right? Mm-hmm. What you got to say before we got here today?
That's it.
No, you got to say something.
What do I have to say?
You always drop a gem before we go.
I know I do drop a gem.
I'm-
I'm tired. I had a
look,
long
I'm-
weekend. Saw that rain yesterday. Yesterday was my
It was
son's 13th
disgusting.
birthday.
Yeah, I see
Happy
that.
birthday to my
Congratulations to my
son.
Jen
I have a
Chase.
teenager now. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah. But that's it, guys.
Someone said, are you proud to be black? I'm going to say yes. I just don't like the mentality of a lot of us.
Very proud to be black. I'm black and I'm Jamaican. I couldn't be prouder.
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm proud. I'm a proud black
Couldn't be
man.
prouder.
I just don't like how cooked we are in our mentality. Like, it's just crazy.
We could do better.
Yo,
Right.
you watch people who are regular people believe that they should live like celebrities. You a regular person. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why do they be like, well, I'm gonna smoke every day because Wiz Khalifa do it. Wiz Khalifa worth like 30 million. You ain't even worth 30,000. And it's scary that it's like social media is hurting people. I think some people mother and father first cousins, man. Damn. I'm being honest with you. I think some people mother and father's first cousins.
Here.
Because they crazy. I'm sorry. They crazy.
Oh, killing me with that.
Word.
Oh yeah, guys. You guys know we're having our first live podcast next Sunday. So we're going to be at
Spices.
Why couldn't I get that out? Spices.
In Baldwin,
Baldwin, Hempstead. So if you're in New York, guys, it starts at 5:30. We're gonna try to not be on Black people time.
I'm gonna say this one more time.
Really
the
be there
YouTube
5:30.
channel, for those who are on TikTok, the YouTube channel
you
is
coming,
called
Leonard? Yeah.
Empowered, EMPOWERD, Empowered Dynasty. Right there, my guy Boss Dre just put it up. Empowered Dynasty. Go show some love to Boss Dre. Boss Dre is the creative director over here. And him and Tyler, so the way
I don't
you see
separate
them
black
too.
with Jamaican. It's just, it's a thing we say. Like, I don't know. I'm not separating it. I'm black. I'm just
All right,
saying
but
I'm Jamaican.
Let me say this before we get out of here today. Guys, the dating pool is messed up. And a lot of the times the people that cry about the dating pool are the people that is peeing in the pool. And again, if we don't realize that we got to clean up our own mess before we start looking at other people's mess. And again, as long as we continue to make excuses for our poor behavior, you're gonna throw the rock and hide your head. There's a lot of people right now that need to realize, like, yo, maybe the dating pool ain't messed up. Maybe I'm just looking for the wrong people in the pool that I fit in. And that's just the reality. Because some of the people, you know how they look? You know a kiddie pool? Imagine a big old adult in the kiddie pool. That's how they look like. They in the wrong pool. And I'm just being fair, whether male or female, they in the wrong pool. They think that they deserve things that don't even make sense. You deserve somebody that respects you. You deserve somebody that's gonna be loyal to you. You deserve somebody that wanna build with you. You deserve somebody that has their own and they bring in what they have to the table to build more. You deserve that. You know what I'm saying? I even give God-fearing, but the things and the standards that people be having be crazy as hell. Till next time, guys. Don't let that go over your head.
Bye, guys.